Radio, culture. Radio Culture, KULCHA TV. My name is Son Bako. I am reaching you from Studio 1, Texas, USA. Welcome to the weekly live stream. Yes, indeed. Ghana must move forward. And that's what gives us the energy to come here every Sunday to carry out our duties as responsible and worthy citizens of Mother Ghana. Yes, indeed. This week, the President gave the State of the Nation address, delivered the State of the Nation address to Parliament. To many who listen to the State of the Nation address, it delivered a message of hope for the future. Still, we have a few or some who are not so enthused about the address. Yes, indeed, we are transmitting online, reaching every part of God's blessed universe, from Moscow all the way through wherever you want to pass through to Alaska or wherever in between. We are here and we are reaching you via the power of the internet. Welcome to the weekend live stream once again. My name is Son Bako. And yes, I said after the President has delivered State of the Nation's address, we will be looking at it from an informed perspective. We're hoping to bring you Dr. Newlove Asamoah, UK-based economist, and we will also be joined by Jataba Nana Agyenim Boateng, who is the founder of the United Front Party. We'll be comparing the reality on the ground to the rather flamboyant picture painted by the President. And we'll be checking to see if the figures in the speech and all the promises of hope do align with the reality on the ground. Very soon I'll be joined by Dr. Newlove Asamoah, and hopefully Jataba will also join us on this all-important discussion. On arts and culture, we will be also taking a look at in the same State of Nations address. The President stated that 20 million Ghana cedis will be given to Kumawood and all the other woods, right, to the film or that aspect of the creative arts department. And again, another 20 million Ghana cedis will be given to other related areas. We will be taking a look at this on arts and culture with the man Synergy. And indeed, also on agriculture, we will be speaking with the man Moses Atti-Lorlorh on vegetable gardening as an alternative income source during the main farming seasons. That's on agriculture. All this and your GH reports with Justice Marfo coming on this week's edition of the Weekend Live Stream. Stay close, don't go anywhere. Because when we come back, we are bringing you your show. We will be right back. I think my guests are already on standby. At least one of them is. I see them in the green room for sure. So we will be bringing you your show right after this very short break. Stay, please.
Ayana Yahweh, oh, Zayana Yahweh, oh, Zayana way, oh, Zayana Yahweh. Yo, listen, man. My name is Ja, beloved. You can call me Kwesi back on when the occasion calls for it. You are watching iKULCHA TV. Keep it locked.
iKULCHA TV, Africa from an African perspective.
Since 1994, crafting natural products with organic shea butter and red palm oil. All products are available on Walmart.com and Shopify, or visit our website at chrismark.com.
Culture.
Okay, we're back and it's time for the show proper, so to speak. I already have my guest in the green room, as I indicated earlier, Dr. Newlove Asamoah, who is no stranger to this platform at all, is waiting to join us. Doc, if you can hear me, please activate your camera so we can start the show, sir. Thank you very much. All right. And then I'm also informed that Jataba will be joining us very soon. Nana Agyenim Boateng, founder of the United Front Party, will be joining us very soon. But for now, let's go straight and go speak with Dr. Newlove Asamoah, my favorite, your favorite, everybody's favorite guest on this show for how many years time now. Thank you very much for joining us today, Doc. How are you doing, sir?
Kwesi, good afternoon. Actually, good morning in the US, right?
Good morning on my end of town.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm sure it's good afternoon where you are. Thank you very much for making time for us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. As usual, I'm always happy to contribute.
Anytime. And we are always the better after listening to you. Thank you very much, Doc. So the last time we met, we did say that we'll be checking in with you every time there's something very important to discuss along the lines of economics. And of course, and here we are, first call for the year 2026. Doc, State of the Nation address. I almost said State of the Union. State of the Nation address 2026. Generally speaking, what was your takeaway? How did you take it? What did you hear the president say?
Well, let me say Happy New Year to the listeners. This is the first time for the year, so it's in order that I say Happy New Year to you all and everyone. Looking at the State of the Nation address, I think it's a constitutional requirement that beginning of the year, the president should let us know as citizens the country that we have entrusted to him to look after for us. He should give account to us for us to know what has happened, what is going on, and what are the plans for the future. And so, I mean, we will come to the specific, but in general, I would say that based on what we heard, I think in general, I was very impressed with the State of the Nation. And obviously, before even the president came to Parliament for the State of the Nation address, if you are someone like me who is always following politics and development in Ghana, you will know that over the past 1 year, things have changed. So to some of us who were not surprised to hear all the things that the president was saying. But we are looking forward for a more sustained activity so that the country would get to a certain level within the next 3 years before Mahama's term will end. So overall, I would say that I was impressed with the State of the Nation. And if everything that was said is anything to go by, and politicians will keep to their words for the future, for the things that have been pledged or promised, then I think Ghana will have a brighter future.
That's very good to hear coming from the expert. So speaking of the things that were said, we'll come to the nitty-gritty of it as well. But was there anything that the president said that made you like, not quite, as an economist, sitting out? Because of course, a lot of flamboyant things were said, to make everybody, of course, hears these things and are excited. But did you hear anything that made you feel like, no, this is just politicking, not real in economic terms?
Well, not necessarily, because for me, I've always said that every government that is serious about doing something will be able to do if they are serious to do it. Whatever anybody put their minds to it, they can do. For example, when the MPP won power in 2016, during the campaign, they promised to have free. And some of us thought that it was too ambitious to start free SHS from the first year of the Akufo-Addo presidency. But because it was something that they were committed to it, they found a way of making sure that the free SHS kick-started from the first year. Of course, the implementation is debatable as to whether things went well, where did we go wrong, and so on, is discussion for another day. But the willpower was there, and because the willpower was there, it was initiated. For me, what the president said, which is ambitious, or which we have known over some time now, since the budget was read, was the Accra Kumasi Expressway that the president said they wanted to build within his term. So let's say for the next 3 years, they're going to have this Accra Kumasi Expressway. And since the minister read the budget, they have been working on it. Their drawings and everything has come out. For me, that is what I think is very ambitious, and I doubt if the president will be able to do that within the next 3 years. And then also, I also heard some regions, districts were promised some universities, and I believe that some of the things are not necessarily things that we need to worry our heads about. As far as I'm concerned, the president should have priorities in certain areas as opposed to having universities within every district or every region.
Every region.
Yes, we don't necessarily we need hospitals in every town, in every city, but we don't necessarily need university in every region. I don't believe we need university in every region. For me, it is, if you have, fine, but at this time of our development, I think we have enough government universities and private universities in Ghana. I mean, there are even private universities
distributed, though. That's the problem. We may have it, right? But I think they are concentrated in the south. I don't think they are fairly distributed. So that's why having universities in every region may be a good idea for access. Don't you think so, Doc?
No, personally, I don't think so. For example, you could see that Ghana, in terms of academic institutions, is built in such a way that even secondary schools, people travel from the north to come to the south to school. People travel from the south to north. I know people who live in Kumasi, but they went to training college in Tamale, in Boagatanga, and so on. And I have mates who came to Ashanti region from the northern part of Ghana. We school together. So that is even secondary school. Our secondary schools are built in such a way that it fosters oneness. That is why if you look at Ghana compared to other countries in terms of our culture, in terms of friendliness, Muslims and Christians, we coexist, we do things together because of our school system. And growing up, for example, there were only 3 universities: University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, and KNUST. And we traveled all over Ghana from everywhere to go to these 3 universities. But now we have universities in Volta region, all over. So for me,
so here's my thing though with that. Again, if people were forced to travel south because the facilities were not there, if there are, like you said, if there are only 3 universities, then everybody's working towards traveling down south to by now if there are universities spread across the country, and there's one in, say, the Upper East region, but it's a specialist university, right? The way we have Takwa School of Mines. If I want to study mining, I will go to Takwa School of Mines, even if I'm from Damango, right? So don't you think that it's also good? Because in the United States, for instance, every state has a state university, but they don't necessarily go to those. I mean, the residents of that state don't necessarily go to those universities.
Exactly. Yes, it's good to have the university. My concern is, for example, the cost involved. Okay, in terms of in economics, we have something we call economies of scale. If you produce on a large scale, the cost per unit or cost per one falls. So you open a university in almost, let's say, every district, and then your intake, you have about 200 students for the whole year. If I go to class and I teach 10 students, I get paid the same amount as someone who is teaching 100 students, and it's not cost effective. So for me, having university across every region will be very good, provided we will have the demand and it will be cost effective. Remember that every year we have lecturers going on strike. Polytechnic, which now we call them technical universities, lecturers going on strike. Their book allowances, research allowances are not being paid, salary increase, and all those things. So for me, if you be able to consolidate the ones we have and then make them in such a way that they can run a lot of programs that people can access and it to be cost effective, I think for me, I will go for that than to have university in every region or district when it does not necessarily bring any efficiency. So for me, for example, so like you say, most people who want to do medicine may want to go to KNUST or Legon, even if there's a university in their area, but not well developed. And also, I've realized that when it comes to project implementations or building, when governments start to do this project, they don't have dedicated fund for it and make sure that we start and we complete. They will start and spread it around and they end up not completing any of them. So we don't get to benefit. Let me give you a typical example. The Agenda 111 hospitals, to build 111 hospitals. As soon as that policy was launched, I questioned it and I give advice. Look, it doesn't make sense that you don't have money at the time. The government said they had $100 million and they are going to distribute that $100 million to start the foundation for 111 hospitals. And I said, it doesn't make any economic sense. If you think that you can have budget to build 10 hospitals, identify which areas you really need hospitals and use that money to build the 10, complete them, let people use them so that the next time you get another money, you do for others. But you go and start maybe 50, then you cannot finish. The same thing, Mahama started the e-blocks, 200 of them. By the time he left office, less than 43 were completed. Up to now, as I talk to you now, there are most of them that have not been completed. So we tend to spread the program so that people will see that we are doing something, but we don't get the benefits
of doing them in phases.
Exactly.
We can actually manage them.
Exactly. Do what you can. Let people benefit from that, and then you move. Development is incremental. You cannot develop everywhere at the same time. It should be incremental. So once you know that, oh, I've done up to this point, this is okay. Now we have enough resources to move here, then you can do that. But you don't have to say, oh, if I do here, I don't go and do here, people will complain. So let me start all of them. Then none of us get to complete and none of us benefit from the project. So for me, if we can start and finish for people to benefit, I have no problem. But it has to be cost effective. It's about time we look at the cost effectiveness of all the projects that we undertake as a state, because we tend to waste money anyhow. And that is where I think I had issue. Otherwise, everything was okay for me.
Okay. All right. Now, Doc, he says Ghana is back. That is a loaded statement, even though it's just 3 letters. Ghana is back, right? But looking, especially for you as an economist, looking at where we were, how we were rated by Moody's and Fitch and all of that, and how generally, put Moody's and all that aside, how even Ghanaians used to assess their own economy, and how Ghanaians are assessing their economy now, and how these international agencies are also assessing Ghana's economy right now. And then the president is bold enough to say Ghana is back. As an economist, is Ghana back?
To be honest with you, I would say yes, Ghana is back and on the right track. because from 2021 coming, we saw how things were. Inflation went to 54%. Exchange rate, the dollar went at a point was at 17 cedis per dollar, and prices skyrocketed. You go to the market, you go with certain amount of money today, tomorrow you cannot buy the same things. So things were really, really difficult. I mean, I've never heard in the history of Ghana that the country has defaulted, that the government owes people and cannot pay. We used to teach. The other day I was on a program and I was saying that now Akufo-Addo and the finance minister, they have changed the way we used to teach economics, because sometimes when I was teaching investment, for example, we said, oh, there are securities that are very safe for investment. If you go and invest in government bonds, government is continuity. Government is not like a business that will collapse. So government never defaults. So we have something we call risk premium. If you go and invest with a private company, they will pay risk premium because they are likely to collapse and default. But government will never default. So government is investment, when you go and see with the government, is safe. But it got to a point that people are giving haircuts. Your investment, you're not going to get your interest, and your capital is also being slashed. So then it makes it even risky to invest in government securities. So that was how bad the situation was. That was how bad. So now it got to a point when I was teaching how to give, there are exceptions.
Yeah.
There are exceptions.
Yep.
There are exceptions. Instead of basically saying generally that government will not default, we say that, there are a few exceptions when the economy becomes so difficult. So it was that bad, and people could feel it in their pockets. And you see, in Ghana, we are net importers. Okay, when it comes to export and import, the things that we export less than we import, and the exchange rate is very determinant, or is very important when it comes to looking at whether you are importer or you are exporter. If you are net importer, then when the exchange rate is going up, you lose. It makes things in your country very expensive. Because, for example, if I have to buy $1 for 17 cedis, it means that whatever I buy for $1, I will not be able to sell it 15 cedis. First, I will sell it 17 cedis. I have to add my expenses, my transportation, plus my profit. So I end up selling it around 25 cedis. Meanwhile, if the exchange rate was 10 cedis, then with my profit and everything, probably I can sell it around 15 cedis. So it was very bad that it was affecting even businesses, because businesses were complaining that those who do import, you exchange 1 billion cedis to import things. By the time you finish selling and re-importing, that 1 billion cannot import the same thing again. So within the last 1 year, we have seen how the cedi has stabilized, actually appreciated, because cedi that was around 17, 16 is around 10, 11 by December. So it tells you that things have really picked up as far as the economy is concerned. And then inflation towards the last quarter, from September coming to December, we actually had single-digit inflation. And because of the exchange rate, which was appreciating, plus the inflation that was coming down, you could see that it reflected in the prices of things. At the pump, when you go to buy fuel, for example, fuel prices were decreased at a point, something that hardly happens in Ghana. Ghana, things prices always go up, they never come down. Transportation at a point had to be reduced. So it reflected how the economy was performing, reflected in people's pocket. Because I was listening to someone who said he was using a Toyota Land Cruiser, and he used to fill his tank like 2,000 cedis. But when the prices came down, he could fill the tank with 1,500 cedis, meaning that extra 500 cedis is saved. So these are the things that you want to reflect in people's pocket. So you will not just look at the figures that they are coming down, but you can actually experience them through the reduction in the prices. Of course, when we talk of inflation, people get the misunderstanding that when inflation is coming down, prices should come down. It does not mean that prices should come down. It means that prices are increasing, but the rate at which they are increasing is reducing. If prices are coming down, rather, then we can say that there's deflation. That is what we call negative inflation. Deflation.
Is that a good thing? Deflation?
Deflation?
Yeah. Is it a good thing?
Deflation necessarily is not a good thing, because when there's a deflation, it doesn't encourage businesses to produce. What it means is that people are not buying the things, and so prices are coming down. If prices are coming down, producers are going to lose, and if they are losing, they are not going to produce. If they are not going to produce, they are not going to employ people, so unemployment will happen. If there's unemployment, GDP is going to fall. So deflation is not good. Inflation
is like a necessary evil which has to be managed within a certain...
Not very high inflation, but reasonable inflation is good. It spurs the economy. It gives business people motivation that whatever I'm selling, whatever I'm producing, people will buy, I'll make profits, and because of that, they're able to employ people, they're able to produce, they're able to increase their GDP in the economy. So mild inflation is good. When it becomes excessive, that is when it's not good, because it hurts everyone. But mild inflation is good. So I would say that yes, the economy, Ghana is back.
Ghana is back
on the right footing.
Okay. Now, speaking of that also, Doc, two things. The gold board, right? And its significance to the stability in the economy that we are experiencing right now. Yeah. And also, I'm looking at that as one thing, and also just the idea of having a gold board, and also the reintroduction or the relaunch, if you can call it that, of Tema Oil Refinery.
Yeah.
These two together, what impact is it potentially going to have on the economy?
Good. I think, I don't know if people really recall, but I was one person who was always calling for Mahama to come back. Anytime I was on a platform and people asked, why do I want Mahama to come back? I said, someone who has made mistakes before will always learn from their mistakes and they will do better. And I know I read one famous American entrepreneur. He said he will never employ someone who has never made mistake in the field he wants to employ someone. If you never made mistake in that field, he's not going to employ you because you don't know how to fail. He wants somebody who has failed in that field so that the person can learn what he did and failed so that he will not do it again. And I think he's been listening to some of the things that we've been saying, because me, for once, I've always called for TOR to be restored, because it did not make any economic sense that at the time Ghana was not producing crude oil, we were refining oil. Yeah. We were refining petrol, all of those things. And then when we started producing oil, we stopped refining.
Makes no sense.
And then we're importing finished product to store at the Tema Oil Refinery. And sometimes I sit down and look, what kind of leaders do we have? Why can't you sit down and think? One, if you decide to refine this, we are not going to import, and that is going to put less pressure on the foreign exchange. So for me, it's very, very good thing that the TOR has come out now. And now what it means is that in terms of our imports, remember before the NPP left office, they introduced gold for oil.
Yes.
Because the oil prices were going up and the cedi was depreciating all the time, they decided to use gold for oil. Meanwhile, we could produce the oil in our own country. Why do we have to pay money and import? So by refining it ourselves, we are able to create jobs in the first place. More people have jobs to do. They will pay taxes to the economy. Those around the Tema enclave, they can also provide services, which we call auxiliary services. So we talk of direct employment and indirect employment. Those running restaurant, those running hotel services, transportation. So it will create a lot of job, which will also have multiple effects on the life of people. And second, we are not going to import finished product because we know that finished product tend to be more expensive than the raw one that we export. So we export raw material at cheaper price and we import finished product at a high price. No economy will be able to survive doing this all the time. So that is very good thing that we have reintroduced. Talking of the
And actually, yeah. Even with the gold board, also, let me chip in this real quick. My emphasis is on the refinery because Ghana announced that we're going to start refining gold. I think there's already some agreements.
Actually, they have started. That's what I was going to say.
Right.
I saw the shop. They have a gold shop where they have produced jewelry, different kinds of jewelry that people go there to buy. I've seen it myself. So the same thing. We produce gold, and then we export the raw gold all the time. Then we import finished products from outside. Meanwhile, by processing it now that we have started, the gold board, apart from helping to show up the city, we are now able to employ our own goldsmith, produce our own gold. And you see, we are able to produce these designs that are locally. Look at the dress you are wearing, the Adinkra dress that you are wearing. Excellent. We produce our own things with our own symbols, the Adinkra symbols, our gold, using it to produce jewelry with Ghanaian touch. It gives you privilege. It gives you that feel-good element that, look, I'm wearing made in Ghanaian gold. I quite remember last year, I went to Ghana, and then when I was coming, I brought Ghana chocolate, and I shared it to the staff at my workplace, and I told them, this is premium cocoa. We are not talking about caramel. We are talking about premium Ghanaian cocoa. And when they read the content, they were like, wow, that is very rich in cocoa. I said, yes, because this is made in Ghana. He said, do you know why I don't eat chocolate from Switzerland and other places? Because they are more caramel, more sugar, but this is pure cocoa. So the pride that I had because I had Ghanaian chocolate. So the gold board and the Tema Oil Refinery, one, they're able to create employment, they're able to add value to our raw material. So instead of getting peanuts for the raw material that we are exporting, now we have added value and we're able to get a lot because we have added value. So these are all things that I believe that they help the economy to grow. They help the economy to develop so that we don't always have to export raw material. At a point, if you read development history, what happened is that the developed world, the Europeans, the US, they want Africa to be exporting raw material to feed their industries. So I was very particular when we set up this African Continental Free Trade. My PhD dissertation was on the African Continental Free Trade because I saw the market that 54 countries can give. So assuming we decide to trade everything even among ourselves, we have about 1.5 billion people to trade among ourselves. It's a very big market that if we add value to our raw materials, we'll be able to generate a lot of revenue and a lot of development for our country. So these are very good signs that if we'll be able to sustain them, then we can move forward.
All right. Speaking of gold for oil, let me ask you this, because I heard Minority Leader Fenyomakin say in Parliament that the gains of this economy should be credited to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, he said the gains of the gold board should be credited to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because the gold for reserves program is the same, or it's a replication of the gold for oil program. Is that a fact from your point of view?
Well, to some extent, I would say yes, to some extent, because the other day I was talking about the fact that in theorizing, in coming out with theories, people first come out with a theory, then others will write a critique of the theory and say, oh, if you have done it this way, it would have been better. And then they also improve upon it. So you can have a theory that has been done by about three or four people. Each of them will build on each. And so for me, the initial idea came from Bawumia when he introduced the good for oil, so that instead of exchanging the cedi to go and buy the oil, we can exchange with the gold. So if somebody says the idea came from there, I think to a large extent, I will agree. As to whether the implementation would have been the same as was conceived, that is another question. But in terms of having the genesis to do something like that, I think if somebody said they should give some credit to Bawumia, I think I wouldn't fault the person, because
okay. But then in terms of the content of those policies, though, are they the same? Because in one instance, you are using gold to, at least from my layman's understanding of these things, you're using gold to go exchange for fuel, gas, right? Petrol, which you put in your vehicles or whatever and burn into the atmosphere and it's gone. So it's like you spending, you're consuming, you're using the gold to go buy something that you're consuming, versus putting gold away in your reserves. Looking at the two, from where I sit as a layman, it looks different to me, doesn't it?
Well, they may look different, but in terms of the goal, what do you want to achieve? Okay, that's why I said the implementation may be different, but the idea behind is that, let me start from the good for oil, for example. When Bawumia started, the idea is that the cedi is depreciating. So if you want to keep changing the cedi into dollar to get the oil, the cedi is going to get worse. So for us to maintain maybe some stability, let's use the gold so that we don't have to exchange the cedi into dollar. So the idea is the cedi stability. Now, if you look at the current idea also, the reserve, the gold for reserve, is to build a reserve. Reserve are different from stability, but at the moment, the objectives are two. So let's say when the MPP started, there was one objective, but now there are two. There's addition. That's why I was saying that somebody will start something and somebody will build on it. Now, the idea is that let's have reserve for the future. At the same time, let's use the gold to make the cedi also stronger. So that is the two objectives now. So to build on what was started, it may not necessarily be the same thing, but the idea, the foundation would have been taken from the gold for oil. And I think they even started good for reserve as well. It was good for oil and reserve initially, but of course it didn't last for long before they left power. But as to whether they would have added the refinery that is being done now is another question. But the initial idea, I think I will not fault anyone who will say that some of the credit should go to the previous government. I wouldn't. Yes.
Okay. All right. Doc, let's watch this short clip and I want you to react to it when we come back.
Okay.
As I speak to you, work has started on 50 major road projects that cover a distance of 1,144 kilometers. The total The total estimated cost of these projects is 50 billion Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, government is also completing 23 projects that were awarded by the previous administration but were not paid for. These projects amount to another 573 kilometers and are estimated to cost 15 billion cedis. So if you add that to the 1,500, it means about 2,000 kilometers of roads are currently undergoing rehabilitation as I speak. This is the biggest major investment in our road sector in the history of Ghana.
The biggest investment in our road sector. The president also said that the biggest chunk of the national kitty is going to be dedicated to roads. How important are roads to the economy? And I know you hinted on this in your very first response, but expand on that a little bit for us. Why does the road sector eat up so much of the budget when an area like arts and tourism gets like chicken change? Let's face it.
Yes. Roads are very important. When you talk of economic infrastructure, road is one of the biggest economic infrastructure, because whether you will be able to transport the goods that you have produced, transporting people to work and so on, they need the road. So roads are very important. If you look at the 4 Asian tigers, we talk of Singapore, talk of Malaysia and all those countries. Singapore, for example, has the #1 roads in the world. If you look at the kind of road they have, impeccable. And it brings about development. Talk, for example, before the Circle Interchange, which they call Accra Dubai, was constructed, for example, by the same Mahama, it takes you about 2 hours when you move from GBC through to Kaneshi. It will take you more than 2 to 3 hours on that stretch alone. So you can imagine the amount of working hours that will be lost if you want to go through that. But once that place was constructed, within 20 minutes, it's cleared. So roads are very important. So that's it. So when you invest in roads, it's very good because it opens up everywhere. If it's the rural areas, they'll be able to bring out the cocoa, the food that get rotten in the hinterlands. If you have lived in the rural areas, like for me, for example, I have lived in typical rural area where sometimes when it rains, no car will be able to go there. People have to walk like 10 kilometers to the place where they can get transport, because the roads are immoderable. So investment in roads are very key, are very important. But my problem, I still have problem there. My problem there is not how much is being invested, but how many roads are being done at the same time. Once again, that's my problem. Mahama himself said that there were over 500 something roads that Akufo-Addo left behind, which is costing about 15 billion. And now he's also doing some that is going to cost 50 billion. So we are talking about 65 billion Ghana cedis. Where are we going to get the money from this year to complete all those roads? So wouldn't it be prudent for us to be selective? The roads that have been started already, which ones will be easy to complete, rather than to initiate new ones? Which areas are so bad that if we don't tackle this immediately, the place will be immoderable? So identify the roads that need urgent care, and let's tackle them and do them gradually. For me, all the roads that he will mention, there's no way that he can even finish all of them before he leaves office. Because one, the money is not there. they are too ambitious. If we're able to do that, I would doff my hat out for him, but they are too ambitious. Let's go systematically, complete some of them with available fund instead of starting all of them at the same time, and we are not able to finish any of them. If we can finish even 20% of the over 2,000 kilometers or whatever he's talking about, if we can finish 20% this year and it's usable, and next year we do another 30% gradually, I think I'll be for that. So much as it's good to be ambitious about roads, we should be able to look at the source of funding and how we can complete them on time so that we don't waste resources. Akufo-Addo thought he was going to complete it, but he's left all of them behind. And he said the same thing, that the roads that they are constructing at the time was unprecedented. It has never happened. What happened? They never finished them. And so for me, I believe in starting and finishing than to starting so many and you end up not finishing them, and then the money goes down the drain and we have to start from the scratch. Roads are such a way that if you start and you leave them, they deteriorate. And when you come back to them, you may have to start from the scratch again. So it's better for you to start, give yourself time frame. If it's 24 months, use it to complete, move on to the next. And I think for me, that will be what I am for.
So do you get any impression that the government has no idea of where it's going to source funding for these things? Because when I hear the president speaking about these projects, what I'm thinking is Nina Jina Bibi. So if you know, to use that expression, you think that we these are just wet dreams for now?
No, for me, I believe they have idea where they'll source the fund from, especially when it comes to Accra-Kumasi Express Road. The last time I heard, the idea was to have public-private partnership.
That's right.
So they're going to have to involve the private sector, but government will have to also bring in chunk of the money, while the private sector will also contribute, because they were supposed to have the private sector so that after the road, they can install some road tolls to recoup the investment back. So when it comes to that, I think they know what they are doing. But most of the road are GOG funding, Government of Ghana funding, which are from the taxes. For example, we have cocoa roads where the money to be used are from Cocoa Board. And let's look at the problem Cocoa Board is having now. They don't even have money to pay the cocoa farmers, the cocoa that they have bought. They don't even have money to pay them. How much more can they have money to pay contractors who are working on those roads?
Yeah.
So we have to be measured in all those
things.
The
government took the cocoa roads away from Cocoa Board, though. I think they put it back.
Exactly. So now everything has become GOG funding, except specific roads like those that sources have been funded for. But he said the project that Akufo-Addo left behind, there was no funding for them, meaning that it has to come from the annual budget allocation, which is from the taxes that we are paying. And we know the annual budget allocation, we cannot have so much to complete all those roads within, I'm using the period that Mahama will be in the next 3 years. There's no way we'll be able to finish all the roads that he's talking about. So we should prioritize and see which ones needs urgent touch, and then we devote time for them. And then those that can wait a little, we should wait until we get secure funding, so that when we go on the site, we know that from start to finish, we have, like you said, we have something in sight. So before we start.
Okay. Now, he also mentioned starting, apart from what you've already spoken about, that the new universities and all that. One other thing that also caught my attention is when he mentioned that Ghana is eyeing building a new textile factory.
Yes.
That I think is very, very, very vital, because even the kente crapo these days, people print that from China, right?
Exactly.
So even if you want to depict your national pride, you're still buying fabric from China. Now, if Ghana has its own textile printing industry, with all the yen tuma that we will buy, with all the kaba and slate that we are going to buy, with all the tuma ifra that we are, how important would this be for the economy?
It's very critical. Because I won't lie to you, the industrialization is very critical for every country. And so, for example, we're talking about 24-hour economy. Where can you start? Which area is better to start 24-hour economy than factories? We ask ourselves sometimes, people travel to Europe, to the US, to advanced countries. Where do the people get work to do? Most of them in the factories. And they have 3 shifts. Some start from 6 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 6, and it goes on. It goes on. So can you imagine if we are able to revive these textile factories on the value chain? Okay, the value chain will mean that we have to have cotton farmers. So have proper irrigation. Let them have this big farm that can produce the cotton. So you generate employment there. A lot of people, because for you to be able to produce the cloth, you need more cotton. So you're going to have a lot of people employed in the cotton field. Then it comes to the factory itself. And then you produce. You have people who will be working on it morning, afternoon, and the night. And you can implement the 24-hour economy effectively. Then the end product, the cloths, go to Makola, KJTR, and that is where all those people who sell the cloths, now instead of importing from China, instead of importing, going to Nigeria and other places to import, they are being produced. And like I was saying, we are able to produce with our own cultural background, our own Adinkra symbols. Now we produce made in Ghana goods in China. We cut the design Adinkra symbol, send them to China to produce, and we bring. How proud do you feel if you know that I'm wearing made in Ghana, but it's actually made in China? So for me, if we are able to do that, I always have what we call national pride. Anytime I'm in something made in Ghana, it makes me very happy. I quite remember when I was in school in Rome, they used to call me Ghana ambassador because I had this kente cloth that I made like fugu, small fugu. So it was very good for the summer. So every summer, that's what I used to wear. Then when the summer is over, I wash, fold it nicely, and pack it. Then when next summer, I bring it out. And I had like 2 of them. Okay. So if we can revive all these factories and we are producing, apart from creating job and on the value chain, we are not going to import. There's less pressure on us needing dollars. So the cedi will be stabilized. So if you want to stabilize the cedi the way it is, we can sustain it by making sure that the things that can support the cedi stability, if you're able to do that, the economy will pick up naturally. You don't have to say it. People will see it because people get up in the morning. I have to write to my cotton farm. People get up in the morning. I have to go to work. People get up in the morning. I have to go to the market to sell. And people have money to buy them because people are working. So politicians do not have to even come and talk about the fact that, things are happening, because people will see it. When the fuel prices started going down, people were on social media talking. I was like, this is the first time I've heard Ghanaians praising that things are going down, because every year there's last year they better China fee, but people were saying 2025 Christmas was better because they were able to buy things and stuff. So when things are going well, I think people will see it. So let us make sure that the things that can help the economy, we actually put our energy into those areas and not just lip service that we want to say things to get people to give us the necessary applaud, but then we end up disappointed. If we can revive all these factories, then the 24-hour, we give all the incentives under the 24-hour economy. Trust you me, Ghana will be back, as Mahama said.
Okay. Before we go, I have another video to show you, and then I have one more question for you before.
Right.
Actually, two more questions, because one will be based on this video.
Okay.
And then I have an extra question. But let's watch this video, and when we come back, I'll ask you.
Received cabinet approval to reintroduce road tolls on our roads and our bridges. Mr. Speaker, this time using advanced technology to improve efficiency, transparency, and avoid leakages in revenue generation. Preparatory work is underway to ensure the reintroduction of tolling operations this year. Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt that an effective and efficient transport system is integral to any economic development plan. So to improve public transport services in the country, government is supporting Intercity SCC Coaches Limited, Metro Mass Transit Limited, and the private road transport operators to renew their fleets. Currently, a total of 300 buses have been procured to improve road transport. The initial batch of 100 buses is scheduled to arrive in the country by the end of the first quarter of this year. Mr. Speaker, in fulfillment of my pledge to re-establish a national airline, a 10-member task force established to oversee this initiative has submitted a business model and operational framework to guide the selection of a strategic partner for the new national airline. And this new national airline will take off soon, inshallah.
Inshallah, this new airline will take off soon. Three things I want us to look at there, Doc. Number one, road tolls, right? Something that I think Ghana is possibly underutilizing. Number two is the fleet of buses that are going to be back Intercity, STC, and Metro Mass. And then, most importantly, what I actually want you to react on is the reintroduction of the national airline. How significant will that be? Please touch on each of these three items quickly before we go.
Okay. The road tolls are in order, because for me, it didn't make sense for them to take the road tolls from our road. Everywhere I have been to, there's always road tolls on highways. In the US, I mean, I've been to a lot of states, Virginia. I've been to the city that hosts Worcester. What's the name of that state?
Worcester is Connecticut.
Massachusetts. I can't remember. I was in Worcester, and we were going for a funeral in New Hampshire. And in the GPS that we're using, we had to choose the road, whether to avoid road tolls, where it's going to give us that village road, or they call it slower road.
Local road.
Rural roads. That is going to take maybe 3 hours. Or we can use the express road and pay tolls, and it's going to take like 1.5 hours. So we say, okay, we want to pay the tolls because we have to be there at a certain time. Do you understand? So road tolls are very necessary. Even advanced countries like US, it generates a lot of revenue to maintain the roads. So a poor country like Ghana will say, for me, we're not going to do road tolls. And when it was said in Parliament without even any approval, that very day, all the road tolls were removed, and it didn't make sense. So for me, if the road toll is coming back, that is a good thing. And with the Kumasi Express Road, bringing in a private participation. If you don't introduce road tolls, how is a private person going to get their investment back? So for me, it's a step in the right direction. Now, the second one are the buses. I was so sad, I think, early part of the year when transportation became difficult. Even within Accra, people couldn't even get trotro to their workplaces. And I saw John Dumelo had to go and hire a bus to his constituency to take people to work and all that. I was like, what is happening? I thought we had what we call, there's this Atti-Lorlorh. So what happened to the buses? So if they have imported 300 buses for that purpose and intercity, then what they have to do, for me, for it to be successful, they should run intercity STC as a private business. I don't know when was the last time you went to Ghana and you used commercial bus, but if you look at the VIP, the way they are running VIP, it's like every 10 minutes, 20 minutes, VIP bus is moving. And this is a private business. They are making a lot of money. You go to STC and you look at the kind of buses they are using. It will not even appeal to you to take it. And they're supposed to have the best drivers. When I was going to University of Cape Coast from Kumasi, we have to buy advance tickets, STC, advance tickets, and everybody comfort, because I wouldn't go and take any other buy apart from STC to Cape Coast. Very comfortable. What happens? So if we want to really run STC or the state transport, we need to introduce models that are private oriented. Of course, it can be subsidized, but it should be competitive enough, and people should be held responsible. How can you have Metro Mass buses condemned when the Metro Mass has mechanics? They have fitters that can work on them. How come VIP buses are not being condemned? But within 5 years, a brand new Metro Mass bus, you go to their workshop and they are all there. And private people are buying them and turning them into private transport. So until we are able to change our mindset and believe that for state to function properly, we need to have a model that will be business-minded. We will keep pumping money into these things and they will not work.
And I agree with you. Before we go to the last part, I'm looking at it like this. The president said that they're bringing in more buses and all that. That's all well and good. But what use would the buses be if the roads that they're supposed to run on are not properly organized for them, right?
Exactly.
So
because
you inundate Accra with 300 extra buses, or how many ever extra buses?
And if there are no bus lanes in Accra,
basically the buses are sharing the same lanes with the everybody else who are already stuck in traffic. Then there's a problem.
So they need to create bus lanes, special bus lanes for the buses, so that the buses will be faster. And that is what will encourage people to also use the bus, because if I would sit in my private car, but the bus can be faster than my private car, why not? A lot of people, they can have what we call park and ride.
Exactly.
So maybe, have park and ride around.
The city is not choked with vehicles, right?
Exactly.
If they start charging people to drive it, before I left New York for Texas, they were considering doing that. I don't know if they started doing that now, but they were thinking of zoning New York City in such a way that parts of New York, it was going to be like London. When you drive in certain zones.
That has been happening in London for almost 30 years now. You can't drive into central London without you paying. Nobody will prevent you from.
And it's so high, you really would park and ride.
Yes, you park and ride.
If they would introduce park and ride from, say, Medina, you drive up to a point in Medina, you stop. So it frees up the road for the buses to ride on.
Exactly. And coming to the airline, I was particularly happy that he talked about strategic partner, because I have said I'm not going to support any state airline that is wholly state-owned unless the private sector is involved, because I have a very bad experience when it comes to Ghana Airways. And if you Google, I have written a lot of, at least about 3 articles on Ghana Airways. In the year 2003, 2004, when I was doing my master's in public policy, I did a research on Ghana Airways. I was at Hull, which is about 4 hours by train to London. And about 5 different occasions, I had to take train to London Heathrow to interview people. Ghana Airways will leave Ghana half empty or half full, whichever way you look at it. And they were coming to Heathrow 5 times in a week. And I wrote that it doesn't make sense. Why are you coming to London 5 times in a week with half flight? Meanwhile, the charges, the same fuel, the same landing charges, and so on and so forth. So when I went to Ghana myself, I wanted to buy a Ghana Airways ticket. I was told Ghana Airways was full. So somebody advised me, go to the airport. Maybe somebody will cancel the flight and then you can get a flight. I went to the airport and lo and behold, I got a ticket. Trust me, I had 3 seats to myself. I had 3 seats to myself in the middle, so I slept properly. I was like, so what is the problem? What is wrong with us? Apparently, people just reserve, politicians just reserve them and they don't even use them. And so Ghana Airways was always running at a loss until it got grounded. And then it was transferred to private sector, led by a consortium by Sammy Crab, who eventually became MPP vice chairman. It became Ghana International Airline. And at the time, Ghana International Airline was grounded in London because they owe so much. The ticket that they have sold, they could not refund the money to the passengers. And Ghana government was supporting Ghana International Airline to the tune of $3 million every month. And I asked myself, what is the sense in keeping national airline when it's draining the states? So when it collapsed, I wrote another article that if anything at all, people have paid for the ticket, at least you should be able to refund their money for them. No, it is the same government that have to use taxpayers' money to refund tickets for those who have bought the ticket. So if today government want to bring it back and they bring it back the way it was, I will never support it. But if it is strategic partner and the private sector will lead with government support, then I'm all for it, because no private partner will say, oh, I'm going to invest billions of dollars into Ghana Airways and I'll allow politicians to just ground it anyhow they want. No, nobody's going to do that. So if that is what we are going for, then I think I'm all for it. And I think that will be the best model to use, because anything that we Christianate government there, it never goes well, because people believe that once belong to the government, I can do anything and go away with it. So if it's public-private partnership, I'm all for it.
Okay. And you if you remember, some time ago, we were in talks with Ethiopian Airlines, I think.
Yes.
About that. Yeah. And I don't know if the partnership is going to head that way, but Ethiopian Airlines has great experience.
They've been very efficient.
Yes.
They've been very efficient. So we have to, I learned we're going to have partnerships. So let's see if really, they said they are coming out with a strategic partner. Let's see which strategic partner is coming, what is their experience, what is their capacity, and what manner of partnership is going to be, so that we know the way forward.
Okay, Doc. Thank you so much. Finally, before we go, and I hope we can spend just about 2 or so minutes on this, maximum, because I know we've taken a chunk of your time. Recently, the government has announced so-called legalization of cannabis, right, for industrial and medicinal purposes. Now, they're announcing licensing fees so people can go buy or purchase licenses to start cultivating cannabis, for medicinal, has to be clear, for medicinal and industrial uses. Now, you live in the West. You see, or you know of some countries that are cashing in on the new so-called green gold. Do you think it's the right step for Ghana to go into this area?
Yeah, I think it's long overdue, because I quite remember during Mahama's first term, there was this narcotics boss called Akrasi Sapon. Akrasi Sapon suggested that cannabis, Indian hemp or cannabis, whatever we call it, should be downgraded so that in terms of its narcotic value, it should be downgraded from hard drug to soft so that it could be used for medicinal because they use it in a lot of medicines. But people are afraid to cultivate, people are afraid to come out with it because of the crime that's associated with it. So he was advocating for legalization of it. And I mean, even in the West here, if you go to Netherlands, you can walk into any shop. If you go to Rome, you can go to any shop and buy cannabis. So if you're going to use it for medicinal and it's going to create that atmosphere, jobs, and people are going to regulate it properly as well so that it's not abused, I think it's all good. Because recently I saw some police arrested is it a truck load of cannabis that have been made into slabs, and because it still had that hard drug tag, they've been arrested. So if they can license people and regulate it for people to work, and then they'll be able to get enough for drug manufacturing and all that, I think that should be good.
Dr. Gordon Newlove Asamoah, thank you so very much. Our first touch base of the year.
Always a pleasure.
I know we will be touching base with you many more times before the year is over. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you. All right. Dr. Gordon Newlove Asamoah joining us on that enlightening interview. Let's go now to bring on our second guest for the day, Nana Agyenim Boateng, who is also not a stranger to this platform at all. Nana is the founder of the United Front Party, and he joins us today to look at the State of the Nation's address. Nana, Akwaba.
Medeshia mejosu eburu.
Bepacha umpom tiseng.
Nyame tumi ni nananoma da Roma ntimi ho ye pa.
Yede nyame ase. Nanu so esan ye free say bon komo wie ye no. Amanfo afra say o ka say obeba bio na da ben na obeba. Nti ene yenya wa yenya ajepa say yenya. Na yemfa say insha say State of the Nation address. Sign out far no den na wo te ye.
Edi ka me de share me da se. Na mesre se Abraham ye se mo ni me bekasa no. Wani twa ye wa santema mu hanom de eye twato a me ko itoso a na nko amako eye dunson. Obia ho kampe eja. Ya ye busua baako. Na State of the Nation address, so far so good. Me fa kwanya we so aboma President John Dramani Mahama nabaso. If he say ohwe ni nkasa ye mu a our good intention for the country. Okra adwempa ema oman Ghana na empire ne wo se Ghana fo nyina ye boma no. Se na ni so ade hunu eden ebebem na se bemu a na etini aka Ghana fo nyina until say do sa bato dia obi abekire na adwene. Na se si a wo so yi de ye wishing success. Said the be anyame be ya do mama bibia koyi. State of the Nation address no kama be do baby the speech writers no must to be prim because omuma omampanyi kan figures dia eja amanfo nso edototo no statistical service there no na it doesn't articulate enti hono no ema amanfo ebo punchline as a sebi ni all can onim na so ye ni patch say menu infantini be say amina wo ebetimi ato ye enti speech writers no must to be caution na yenhwe na next time omo ye bibia they should cross check no man tro bibia o man panyin be bie na no beka na ede sebi ebeda na enimgu ase amano na baby ame
point honey train kakra answer what also my mepacho him fan.
Me pacho statistical service no. Actually say unemployment rates in the country. Ne present condition. Omuma percentage and oman penyin su command different percentage.
I see.
Pacho atimasi. Enti ehono amount for fan say your man penyini sebi onka no kre ba mi hu ni say ni aye trauma no ye dey eko kan ye enti won ma ye trauma no edru baby they can bring all of us on board regardless of the political difference.
Na say me remember what was so that way they on a very quite light note. Say Sanya can the end the senka yes so bit me can say Dr. Baomiaka chair say if the fundamentals are weak no me function the version is picture sana
me dey share ade wo mu ni say ade a enye ma benkum na enye manifa
pepe
pacho atimase
pepe
enti no semfom so oba yaji tum na yesiesi na yakoye nim.
Okay,
so now state of the nation address no me baby amakoma so ade wo pa na at least 24-hour economy betimi boost no agriculture. Agriculture, I have suggested to the president Ghana agriculture your concentration now one seed COCOA cocoa and the Atti cocoa board. But me strenya me dachi bia me be president ade ameye ni say we need cereal board be comprised with a mo atoko a bro a yuo sanya mani nyina ye hia board no so concentration ebe ko ho nanu ya wote ya oye ni eto Ghana for a omo kofa tomato safi Burkina aba ye koku aya me driver me car no omo she no
oh
so na eya na me di hu ya say ye wo Ghana ye wo good weather echen Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a high savanna area. But so timi are maintaining dams, so constructed dams, over 88 dams. Na se sa dams way harvesting in suagum na di aye vegetables. Ama ye free ha ekotu sika gu Burkina asase so e de to honom eniaba e de ba. Eyade a wose Ghana. Eyade a wose Ghana. Enye John Mahama nko. Aban panyifo mamba ko nyina no. Eba no agrika. They should put their head in shame. Because Oba Fomisua in Kumasi crop research. What is the difference between Ghana tomato and Burkina Faso tomato? The fiber content. Me no ka say medua bi ewo me fie anyini me tiso aba medie difference ne say matibi ato honom be na wotwe baako me mfa nche fridge mu survival because the fiber content of the Burkina Faso tomato no is about 85% and na water no 15 eti mature na say rather no shrinking. But Ghana tomato no water content is about 70% and a fiber no air bear 30. It's a bria na air pro. A bria in suoni bemuano na in suono and am said don such a fiber nintino a per quine iodine a pie and no and the money is so perishable. Enti what the misra o man penny minua penny John Dramani Mahama. Onwe moye farmer. Mini na konefuom ewo busunu baby si o mame. Da mango. Mini no akonefuom ewo hono mo pen. Enti no mesre senia ekoso no. Ye ma ye ni kwo ho abebo ayen pa.
Next is what you say yen research into Sanya you be improving your seeds. Amanenya more fiber content.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because where Burkina Faso, omu besua tomatoes dua ewo Ghana wo. Omampanyi dada example na penso o constructed dam ewo Upper East region. Your friend Tolon Dam. Tolon Dam no eno ho ena na yedua tomato. On se ho no mo ni Burkina ben. E ho no mo ba besua tomatoes dua. Na yen dam no almost a yare bi esi dam no ho a ye friend Nimaton. Enti so mu dua e be so pe na insecticides bi pest bi aba no ma be say no. Enti se Upper East die na ye say ya aden ye mra bi a northern region. Ana say baby ye dua tomatoes wo Ghana ha no. Adanfo dua doma omudo ena akoma dan de tete
More than the Myanmar Diminia Kumu Krada.
omudo but Ghanaian farmers no they depend on the mercy of the weather in suota and omutimi yeden edua because tomato na ye fruit be a ensuo and yeden edingini entino I was say ensuo no omudua na ensuo anto a omaboka patrati ase enti let's get down na ye mo pumps na ye mbie mo na ye ntimi nya all year tomato season every year bia na ye close to $500 million and echo and the support to Burkina farmers.
Yo, na me bisa wo. Omapanyi e boss say Ghana ni Italy enya some corporation be or more eba yeah, say tomato a part of it. What say no state of the nation address name?
Yes, sir.
What reaction? A good move.
A good move. But you see, Ghana, baby, we shouldn't depend on the foreigners too much. That's what I say. Because Ghana near here say you were reliable farmers. The farmers need problem. Two. One, you need a great bank our Ghana. I am saying this on authority. You need a great bank our Ghana. Over to ADB, Agricultural Development Bank. But they are all doing commercial business. Kramuaba, letter of credit, LCI ready, they will give you money from Thailand, Holland, Beat, Ebia Okra, Kuko Fununi Yamaba, Yabama Usika Kokra, Bao Beyan, Koko Ghana, Yama Usika Nye.
That's ridiculous.
Yama Usika Nye, all because of moratorium. Because Obia all Kramo Abano, Acha 30 days. Ana 6 weeks, 40 days. Na mona bedu. Amount for to na bank ni receive. That's what I say. But we need banks that can sponsor farmers, basically on agriculture. And can only what agric extension offices. Say maybe what poultry farm. Poultry farm, no, the best hatchery is from Holland. Ehona me free Amsterdam. Enti eno sa no say young guy be every school no person call into poultry farming na o command loan sabo so me o beji a enya possible one here dan ya odi be collateral na gisa moton
na kokem
because Fanny said at least within 14 days best ne be ba be do Ghana no munya be dura o be foro be posa be 6 to 7 months and sana wesane me can we actually say one more you be feeding them until after 5-6 months and sana a 70% to 80 until hormona ebia say loan anasika udi urem no ube shase enya remittance free mu through the X collection. Ba yeni banks a omo eso ye farmers na se. Enti wo mehwe local farmers they suffer because enkukofunu na ye kraba no womo concentration was more than life checking na ye be kuma ye healthy no ama yen no. Agric ministry Mr. Omanpenyi omanani nko wa I must admit recently in Kokon Kete Omo Becheche bi a good move, but the implementation is very wrong. Minimobia onya 18 bears, minimobia onya 50 bears, but Sanka Omo Yesebia. No, yen fan say Atroma Farms. Yeah, Mawaye in Koko 1 million bears. Ne do Christmas season abino abeto. Now we distribute it will be more reliable profiteering and job creation than so be hacha pete. Basically no, I would say I'm distribute to my party members.
And this
yeah, party members. Minya baba or a woman organizer war so onya 18. And when the government will lose, he will lose in the sense that number one, and Kokono Sabi, Yesha Omuchi said Nipa, Omu feeding, baby, a womu better. So the Wema, there was season also more the Wema, there was season also more multivitamins. That's what I say. Antibacterials ninyina na ye de more monum said ye be ya pollution kra no ebe ma omu immune system no aye strong. Enti sa wo hachi na wo chema party for it's not sustainable. But okay say bia target ye bia 10 or 20 farmers, give them a target. Said the Burkina Faso ye o pesa o dua tomatoes a Obema osika odi beye miscellaneous. Obema osika odi beto seedlings. Obema osika odi befa employee laborers etwi omuka kopim sa obe harvest. Edru sa obe harvest ya. Na ono so ma wo 100,000 safer. Enu kwa no be year free mu. The rest will be your profits. So the center of attraction in agric over there no attractive but you have no mono elsewhere farmers are the rich people, but when you come to our motherland Ghana, our farmers are so poor. Yen share cocoa board, even cocoa board they were ye cocoa farmers no one madu do send a scholarship cocoa board. Yenianum ni minister CEOs for Mayana, Wamasaji, Cocoa Board scholarship, and the amom di Patwati I say, and no man odi omuma akwakogu abruchiri. Enti no in the way no stabio fani say cocoa industry no opia ahesuo abone pen patwoni mahesuo. Aha. So wakokwayim. Now sorry ahumachi. Wakokwayim now sorry ahumachi akọ efuom. Ubedu na ho afọ. Bosuo na ubefem ne friend ahesuo. Okay. So ho. Ti wunya obia ne baby afa saade enum na okoda kokoboda no a. Onim ti sabi omo how. Onim the nitty-gritties. And we must start adjoining the grassroots to a specific appointment. Somebody or what the know-how of the sector no to the appointment of the either CEO or the deputy CEO.
Are you subliminally suggesting say Dr. Randia Benya fit for handling the cocoa affairs?
Dr. Randiabe is very capable, but to be honest with you, he could have been more vibrant in the sports sector than the cocoa board. That's my opinion. Because all his life is about football, all his life. is about football. That's what I say.
Me too.
Years ago, Rollins Apenso, Dr. Kofi Kese Sapon, KK Sapon, he was a farmer. Oye Kokobot CEO. That's what I say. John Dramani Mahama, first term. Dr. Opuni. No, we know. Oye Kuyani, Okon Crank and Tahonoma, Abono, or Coco Farm. And to Metia, there wasn't agitations. So, J. Kofo, Nanado, Ikra, Joseph Wahinedu, he's also a farmer. And you know, they did their best. Randy has also, I am not underrating his capability or his integrity, but in my opinion, he could have been better to say sports council. Another deputy minister of sports, Honomo, Baby Krana say National Sports Council, whatever, and can be more brilliant. That's my opinion over there.
I see. Yo, reverting back to the state of the nation. First of all, Senya Omampeni is share in common as Secrano. Na idea may imagine about Sokaka. It was a state of the nation, but it started on a very Pan-Africanist note. So Utia, he was referring to African health sovereignty. I know can be about say, yeah, I'll see to me developing a health system scrap to a point say be a BB beheti crap say be COVID and by na. Young fire home and to a Marfo Frosso. Now, Yankasa Subina Yankasa, your system, the bit to me, dear, what to so. What you honey saying, send us share in common as
It's fantastic idea. Because Ghana, you're independent now, you want still we are in mental slavery. And Yami Bisami who say, years ago, me pass it through Center for Scientific Research into Plant Medicine. And I mean, you're moving komo. Personally, they confide in me, say, and I mean, besides, so bit eti ayaniya paracetamol. So binya infection, either amoxicillin or anti that drugs, you know. And for how long no muntimi enye biwaha? Russia is Russia because odine duane oye ni nuru oye ni bibia. Enti o man penyini akasa asem we ya. Eya dia me bonabaso on that. Me bonabaso on that because o man penyini asem no kan na mu ehwam. We have to be properly independent. We have to depend on the food we eat. The food we grow here must be our consumption. But me no ka say, oko household bibria, about 90% of Enyania ye di ewo Ghana. Sanya ni nyina ye imported ones. Na ye weather ye betimi aye niema betimi aboa yen. Why don't us concentrate on there? And the 24-hour economy, no, a sound idea, which I support, but they should concentrate on agriculture because industrialization, you know, agriculture will be the backbone, patriotism of the industries. Na yen jai say abrebia ye kraniema ba 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 na se the COVID ba ye na BBS enra share Israel, America, any Iran and tokwa ashasi. I am praying say yen te hun sunsan so say eno hunti petro be kosro ana say eno hunti economy no e ba be shaky. We have to be independent, properly independent, regardless of whatever goes on, regardless of crisis. BI basic baby ano. I was say to me, ejina na so. So my penina kasa me agyenim.
Yo, nana me da say. Na alright. Hey, I gave you what Ghana for me. Agyenim and what agyenim so. Na nipa bebre bo o mapani so bo say all companies or bad yo or buy a month for years, they will have to account and all of that. First of all, the pace at which the so-called prosecution economy, Ghana for be brief say okay, no so from where you sit now, how do you assess that?
To be honest with you, you see, fundamentally, the Attorney General, Chief Justice, the Attorney General himself, or from the foundation. Number one more abinda no Mahama, or Mampeni Mahama, pensioner year prosecute or mono. Yes, when in no, and now or say we discontinue with cha omunyina ansemu. And no, in my opinion, it was a wrong foundation. At least he should have allowed the process. Nayama ruling, Emra ma sumdue bibi amra. Patwat masi. And Orano, I'm of the view say Okujeto and Co. They overhype it. Okujeto and Co. overhype it. Because in some more mokekan, some more mokekan, and to do baby, we must bring them. Then we got to question them. You said this, but for how long? You hear prosecution. And the law, Ghana yemrano, adiebia, achiwachi wo. Sabi, yemfa yesi, and court unkodibim. Nemum no ye di adanse ene ye den ekodibem enti no ensem omo kato amanfo so no saade no MPP ayebi NDC nso ayebi some opposition a ensem aye omo kafa government in power ho no they should be very circumspect. Omo beka masa ban no eye Satan. And so now the expectation, Orano, Musu we discuss, prosecute them. We are entering into 24 months. Mutimi prosecute Obia. So in my opinion, I may suggest that most of the statements were overhyped. They overhype it.
I see. Okay, all right. Now, the other thing to swallow or come Masama and no so Ghana Fufu said, I know also money homeless or that area they fight against Galamsey. How do you assess the government's fight against Galamsey? And just suppose that with what the president said in State of Nations address.
The fight against Galamsey, NDC has failed. NDC has failed the fight against Galamsey because the gold board that is surviving, their major source are the small-scale miners, the Galamseyers. They are supplying them.
But so different from Galamseyers, so
accepted. But I'm being classification. You see, Galamsey for no, they are small-scale miners. It could be illegal small-scale miners.
Right.
Let me put it that way. And you want legal small-scale miners. But what am I saying? And you know, there is no way NDC should tell us Galamsey issue. I don't know if it now they have failed. They cannot proceed. I was at the Western region, Memphis Central area. Manswa Memphis Wase Kropon main road that yet Druan main road on highway no they are doing illegal mining, which is Galamsey. I am of the view say if the government cannot stop them, they should step in it. Say okay, say yeah mount concession. Ebia to 10 acres. Namum utu 1 acre be area reclamation. Bomodin se obekata so. And no, in reality, no, ebeboa echiri mano. Otherwise, we are creating death trap. Death trap, because said you almost to amanano monchi bonkano. In a few months later, na emura asha sie efu. One had actually obi be kraso ko efu. Nipa ne bebo no nsia no ma o ma hwe no da menem. It is that initiative, no, and I was a minister from Mines. Ama Kofi Bua, Oma Nenin Kohonom. I am saying this on authority. Wase Kropon, True Bordier, BBNE, Kra, Eba Shanti Regina, Amansia West, Ponyina, they are digging Galamse physical. Oba Achoman Ponia Eko BBNE Roader, Omu to Kra maybe Kra Oha, they are entering into the main road. And no more Mutunina NDC for.
How do you know?
I'm telling you, no MPP man can get up because Omu buy in the first operation, sir. Omu Eshishi Galam say no. Sorry, Omu Shishi excavators no. About 90% MPP for they were on site. And almost swapo yen NDC for swako brow. Yes, on the yaba. And yes,
a party card. I think these are people who are they don't necessarily have to NDC or MPP.
Medas Medishia, Nienti America say this country, baby, I want local government representative. No MMDC can tell me, say, ye to Galam say one a district are on your way. Because in every district, your Freddy be dissect. You were the representative of BNI, now NIB. Every district. You were national security rep, every district. You were district crime officer, every district. You were district police commander, every district. You were national security coordinator for every district. And the district, and all these sectors, they brief the regional minister or the DCE. Then the DCE must also brief the regional minister. Then the regional minister must channel it to the sector minister. And this government, one more crop for too. Senior Muncroft, they should arrest them. There has been a banter.
It's logical that all the Galamsey who in the previous years, at least in the previous 8 years, that's
the previous government, which is NPP, Wuntumi and Co. Womu to Galamsey for 8 years. Abine Dane and almost free site. I'm a new government in Crawfonso, Abo Raho, Omusu Omutu.
I see.
So they are trying to make it as a norm of the day. Say, Yabai Naba, and I will say it too.
I see.
Banyami Sra Bani say, Wabaya Bana Wutua. Monsha the safety aspect, how you can reclaim the land back for future people. That is my heart desire. Nothing more. Samu too, so be too, not on say river bodies, not on say forest belt. No, we are no more kataswa. Why not? A job creation. That's what I say. And the Minerals Commission must come in how to supervise them for safety environment.
Yo, Nana, sorry, so that's CP, but finally, now all together, how did you receive the President's State of the Nation's address? Did it engender hope for you? Utia, and Kenseni, and as they become, and all together, President.
So far, it's very inspirational because the expressway now, Opeso Oyi from Accra to Kumasi, I give him thumbs up. That's what I say. It's in good direction. Maniami Sreni say, Nia Omu ya Omu ye, they shouldn't abandon it.
I think he indicated
Exactly. Mehu bi a omo ye, mehu bi nso a omo nko ho. Pacho ati ase. If he say ni anti a me sre ni say. Akwan eya ade bi a in our world here no. So bi ya kwan no do 90%. Now when we 10% no jato ho no mo a. Wan hwe ni ye a obesan beba ho no, aje obe start bear from 10%. Because erosions a best washing whatever feeling away no and I have so to regular no I believe the State of the Nation address was very inspirational, but it should manifest. John Mahama have good intention. Then this problem we have now is communication deficit. Woman Crawford, they don't communicate well. Enti abrebia ma o mampanyin ho ye hi. Na minim so mo ba power na so ma no madro bi o. Ebi mo kasa with arrogant. And in communication you don't force people to understand you. It's like a music. What ma sing if you hear say amebe. Na mi tie lumba nyumbi. So inspirational. Ose mi namba basa nyina se na eja nani ewo me so. Ni ameni na so na me nsa aken. Adumra de mi abefi. You see the word of the statement, it matters. And they should recycle their communication to help the president to succeed. As I told you earlier on, my heart desire for any president in the government that he should succeed. Or yes, successful. I am a Ghanaian. Ebi Bekami, I wish them all the best.
Yo, Nana Agyenim Boateng front party. Nana, there was CP. Na.
Medeshe nyami shira ono nka wo ho.
Medase. I'm repairing your best sign. Abu na subio. Na yabaje nitsa. Any a dream dog.
Me wo ho ma wa brebia. Ene na ye me driver na omuku no bokina na yi nti we wunti na be free ho aba nti me san akọ do no.
Yeda CP na ya conso. Ebeti enkan so.
Yo. Midasi.
Yo.
Bye bye.
United Front Party founder. No. All right. So there you have it. We are going for a very short commercial break. Say about agriKULCHA with Moses Atti-Lorlorh will be airborne. And in the meantime, newsroom, if you can take the banner down so we can go for a quick short commercial break. And I think we're in the wrong 1 second.
Radio KULCHA.
All right. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Since 1994, crafting natural products with organic shea butter and red palm oil. All products are available on Walmart.com and Shopify, or visit our website at chrismark.com.
secret.
Annex on iKULCHA TV. The name, as usual, is Eko Baku. On this program, I'm going to take you through the various aspects of organic farming, ranging from pest control through fertilization and basic cultural practices at the farm. Boiling the garlic bulbs. So to start, you take 2 full bulbs of garlic. Pest control on eggplant, what some people call garlic.
Okay, thank you very much for staying with us, and we are back. And as Yaba back in the day, then it's time for agriculture. And when it's time for agriculture, 2 people you expect to see, either Eko Bakun Rootsman or my big brother Moses Atti-Lorlorh, who will be presenting agriculture to us today. Yeah, bro, Leke.
Getting better.
Culture.
Getting better. It's always better, my brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what's up for us today on agriculture?
Yes, just like we started last week, I wanted to talk about vegetable production in the main season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spoke about it last week. But this week, I want us to go into the details. Yes, so that those who are interested can catch up quickly, because we just started clearing the plots. In fact, it rained this afternoon here. Yeah, for the past week, it had rained 4 times. So that means the season has started. So we do the land preparation, and then we do the nursery, we do transplanting, and then the general maintenance until harvesting. So the other time I touched on garden eggs, tomato, cabbages, and then what do you call it? Okra. Yeah. So you see, this point is very important to me. During the major season, normally we don't think of vegetables. Only few people do it sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so around April, May, vegetables become very expensive in this country. It is the same thing every year. So I don't know who taught us that, but that's the general practice. Only few people veer from it. So I want to advise farmers to at least you go do your major season crop. Do them, but
Prince Odum has harvested his produce.
you your major
and is at the
season crop.
moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Don't mind the visuals. The visuals are just there to support.
Okay. Yeah. You do your maize, your cassava, your yam, your rice, whatever, but leave some small portion, at least a quarter of an acre, or if possible, half an acre, and do the vegetables alongside, so that in the middle of April to May to early June, that these things become very expensive. In the first place, you will not buy your own. And then the little that you harvest, to when you take to the market, you get a good price for it. So it balances you. Yeah, and you make something out of it. So that's what I want every farmer to start doing something like that. It will help us all. Yeah. But I know there are a few people who don't do any of the major season crops at all. They only go into vegetables, and they make it very big. I know a farmer who did just an acre of tomatoes last year and made 120,000 Ghana cedis, just an acre in the major season. Yeah. So, and then whatever money he got from it, he could easily buy maize in sacks, very cheap at the time of their harvesting, or rice. He could buy those things and stock for himself. So it is good that we go into some vegetable production alongside our major season crops. So with garden eggs and okay, generally with the vegetables, apart from okra, the rest we nest before we transplant. For the okra, you don't nest. You plant it straight like we plant maize or rice or what else. Yeah, or upland rice or maize or cowpea. We plant them straight, the okra. But with the garden eggs, cabbages, pepper, etc., you have to nest them. So the best thing to do is, as soon as you start clearing the land, then you prepare a nursery. At least within a week of starting to clear the land, you start preparing the nursery. So when you nest the seedlings, the seeds, then you continue to prepare your land. So in about most of the seeds, within 3 weeks to 1 month, you have to start transplanting. Mostly tomato like this, within 3 weeks, it's ready for you to transplant. With garden eggs, to 3 weeks to 1 month, it's also ready. But pepper, mostly within a month. You want it to be stronger. Yeah. So as soon as you start your land preparation, then you nurse them. So by the time you prepare the land, finish in about 2-3 weeks time, then the nursery too is about ready. So when everything is ready, you just start your transplanting. We have various transplanting methods, but the normal one that the farmers do is that they use Adler cutlass or soso, depending on the soil. If the soil is tough, it's better use soso to dig so that it loosens the earth for you to transplant. Some use a hoe also, depending on the area. Here in the forest area here, we mostly use cutlass to dig, and then we transplant. So after transplanting, people talk about fertilizer, that fertilizer is not good. Fertilizer spoils food and all those things. It is not true. All over the world, we use fertilizers. We have organic fertilizers and we have chemical fertilizers. They are all good. They give the plant extra nutrients for them to grow faster. But when it's a freshly cleared land, maybe a forest or an area that has been left uncleared for about 5 years or more, we assume the soil is fertile enough that you don't need fertilizer. But where it is a regular planting plot, you will need to apply some fertilizer. And depending on your area, you can use the chemical fertilizer, which is faster, or you can use the various organic fertilizers like farmyard manure. Farmyard manure actually covers almost all of them, because there are goats, there are sheep, there are cattle, there's poultry. But the popular one is poultry manure and then cow dung. But one thing about organic fertilizer is that plants don't take the nutrients in the organic form. That's one thing people don't know. You see, when you apply poultry manure, it has to be converted from the organic state to the chemical state before the plant will take it. That's why when you apply chemical fertilizer, it goes faster. The plants take the nutrients in the chemical state, never in the organic state. Never in the organic state. But when you apply organic fertilizer, it helps the soil. It builds the soil. It binds the water. It nourishes the, what do you call it, the microbial population in the soil. There are so many little microbes or animals that we can't see with our eyes that are in the soil that make a lot of things. So when you apply organic manure, it helps them. It makes their work more efficient, and they do a lot of things within the soil to enrich the soil for us. So that's one good thing, or one reason why it is good to apply organic manure. But on the commercial scale, organic manure is not easy to come by for industrial or large scale farming. So when you use the chemical fertilizer, it is faster. But one thing is the quantity. That's another aspect. You just need a little. You don't need so much. And then the timing, we need it very early in the stage, growing stage of the plant. After transplanting, within a week, you should be able to apply the fertilizer for it, so that it can help it to grow faster and get more branches. The more the branches, the more the fruits that will come out. But some people wait until the crop or vegetable, let's say tomato, is fruiting or is flowering before they apply the fertilizer. That stage is not good. The best time to apply is very early after transplanting. Within a week is the best way. And then secondly, if you use organic fertilizer, then it is good you first apply it to the soil about 2 weeks. If you can, if the place is plowable, you use tractors there. That's one good thing. You can apply it and then plow the soil with it before you start transplanting. So the state, by then the conversion has started. So by the time you plant, then it will start releasing the nutrients for your plant so that they can grow. Else, if you transplant a vegetable and then you go straight with poultry manure or what manure, the plant will not use it then. It will take some time, at least about 2 weeks or more, before it will become very much available to the plant. And that will also affect the growth. So after applying the fertilizers to the plant, then now what remains is farm maintenance. You make sure you take care of the weeds that are going to grow. And then there will be insects attack. Insect pests will come, they will chew the leaves, different insects, depending on the crop that you plant. There are a lot of agrochemicals around. Once you are a farmer, I know some of the farmers know the best. You go to the, if you don't know much, you go to the agric office around and seek for the extension officer that is in charge of your area, and then he can guide you. Yeah, you need correct guidance because you are producing food that people will eat. So you need to get the correct agrochemicals that, and then they will show you the correct quantities that you can apply, and then everything will be fine. But you just don't apply insecticides or agrochemicals to the plant just like that. No, you don't do that. Every day you go to the farm, you observe the farm, you observe the leaves, the plants, and see if there are attacks on it, if there are some holes in the leaves, the extent to which it is you can see if it is so much or so little. We have some thresholds that when it reaches there, before you can apply. You just don't go to apply anyhow. No, when you do that way, you disturb the system. So there are some crops that have some regimes. They say every 10 days, every 2 weeks, whatever. When you get to the agriculture office, they will get you the best person to direct you or to help you. So, but if you already know those things, fine. But if you don't know, then get proper help so that you can do very good farming. And as I'm saying, it's not a big farm, maybe about half an acre or quarter of an acre besides your main farm. So that one, you can manage it. And I tell you, by the time your main crops are ready, this one you started harvesting already. When you harvest the okra, every 3-4 days you go to harvest the okra, and then the tomatoes once every week, or depending on the market day. If the market is twice a week, you can do so. So you get healthy fruits to sell on the market. Yeah.
All right. Wow. I did go carry my hoe and my cutlass now be that. After listening to you, I feel like digging the ground and putting some seeds in there straight away. So all right. Wow. So you mentioned that a friend of yours made what, 120,000 CDs from
yes, last year, from an acre of tomatoes, yes, in the eastern region. Yes.
Wow.
When he told me, I know it will be, he will get a good price, but when he mentioned the amount, I was very much surprised. He said that's the cash he has, which means he got more than that. But at least that was what he could
separate
all
as
his
profit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, is there an equivalent of that in the livestock area? Is there a trick like this? Because you just showed us a very key trick, right? For all farmers. I'm a maize farmer, so all I know is to grow maize. Now you're showing me that while I'm growing maize, there's actually a trick where I can also spare like maybe 1 acre of land to grow tomatoes, okra, whatever, maybe
that is it.
On that 1 acre. But is there an equivalent of that in the livestock area?
As for the livestock area, apart from, let's say, poultry farmers who target occasions like Christmas and maybe some festivals or something, that they go for broilers and rear towards those side. With the livestock industry, actually, we don't have a specific season for it. But then it's how you manage the farm. Yeah, it's the management. And then that's the most important thing. People think, oh, as for livestock, when you just get some few animals or things around, it's okay. But they need care.
Yes.
They need care. So if your care is good, anytime you are in business. And then let me chip this in. Just about a month or two, within a month or from December up to now, a lot of good farmers in this area has lost many of their animals because of a sickness that we call PPR. The goats, they will be like they are feeling cold. You see that their skin is they are muffled, and then they will get diarrhea, and then they will be foaming at the mouth. It's a virus. When it happens like that, no medicine can cure them. But there is an injection against that all ruminant farmers must get. You see, once a year, once a year. So if around August you are able to get get to the what do you call it, veterinary office or whatever the agric offices all around wherever you are, you contact them, and then they will come and just do that vaccination for you. You will not lose one. You will not lose one. I know a man just nearby. He lost more than 16. This thing, what do you call it? Yeah, it's 17.
Whoa.
17 goats. Yeah. See, so I told him that even if you don't have money, just sell one. One of our advice farmers, if you have plenty goats and sheep, just sell one and use the money to vaccinate the rest. Because when it's happening like that, when they are dying, you don't feel like even eating them, because when you look at the state of the animal before it dies, you just throw it, and then it's your money that is going. All the care, whatever you've done, or it's just gone like that.
Oh boy!
So PPR is a very dangerous. This thing, it kills the animals every year. It's happening. When I was in the field, I've been noticing it. But the farmers, when you talk to them about it, they say they don't have money. You don't have money. These 16, 17 goats that are gone, huge money. And he has fed them. He has fed them all this while, and they are all gone. Yeah. It's sad. It's sad. So that's why I'm saying the care. Make sure when you are doing it, have the passion for it, and take good care of them. They will also replenish your cost. You'll be surprised. So it's best that when you are having livestock, seek for the knowledge, seek for good counsel from. Get to the agric office. You see, there are experts there. There is a livestock officer. There is a veterinary officer today. Seek the good information from them, and they will help you. They will help you, because livestock, there's one thing. When it's critical now, you need instant money. When you just take them out just now, especially to the chop bars, you will get your money. You will get your money to do something. That's one good thing about livestock. The moment you lack something, if you have 100 goats, just make an announcement by mouth to people that you have so and so. I give you, just in about 2-3 weeks, everything will go. Because people like goat meat, especially our choppers.
Yeah, which is very highly valued.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
Right.
So they should be conscious of this PPR sickness. It's in French, PPR. So all farmers should take note. All livestock farmers, they should take note of this.
Very good advice. Thank you very much, Moses Atti-Lorlorh. Thank you so much for this week's episode of agriKULCHA. So next week, hopefully you will be back, or I don't know if Eko will be back, or if
next week I'll be in my hometown, so Eko will be around.
Will be here for next week.
I can do it from there, but I'll be busy, so
I can imagine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whenever we see you back, we know it's going to be another exciting episode of agriKULCHA.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So this has been agriKULCHA. We are going to go for the reports, GH reports, after which we will go for arts and culture. For now, let's go for a very short break. When we come back, it's time for GH reports. We will be right back after this break.
Blood of the slain.
Ayana Yahweh, oh, Zayana Yahweh, oh, Zayana Way, oh, Yo, listen, man. My name is Ja, beloved. You can call me Kwesi back when the occasion calls for it. You are watching iKULCHA TV. Keep it locked.
iKULCHA TV, Africa, from African perspective.
Welcome to Tucson Hotel, your ultimate home away from home. Located in the serene town of Ejisu Ichakrum, just off the Jabin Road, we offer you a haven of comfort and luxury. Step into our fully air-conditioned 40 bedrooms, where modern elegance meets convenience. Whether you choose our normal, standard, deluxe standard, or executive rooms, each one is equipped with Wi-Fi and DSTV, ensuring that you stay connected and entertained throughout your stay. Indulge your taste buds at our exquisite bar and restaurant, where our skilled chefs prepare a wide range of culinary delight to satisfy every palate. From local delicacies to international favorites, we have something for everyone. Planning a business meeting or a special event? Look no further than our state-of-the-art conference hall. With a capacity to accommodate 80 to 100 people, it is the perfect venue for your corporate gatherings or social celebrations. But that's not all. We proudly boast the largest recreational center in the Ejisu municipality. With a capacity to accommodate up to 2,000 people, it is the ideal location for concerts, weddings, and other grand events. It comes with 4 fully air-conditioned bedrooms and a kitchen as one package. Our luxury cars are also available for rent. Drive like a boss. To experience true hospitality and unmatched comfort, contact us today. Our friendly staff is ready to assist you. You can reach us at 0244-654-458, 0246-505-327, or 0241-418645. You can also email us at info@tucsonhotel@gmail.com. Tucson Hotel, your home away from home.
Ayana. Oh, oh. Zayana Yahweh. Oh, oh. Zayana way. Whoa, Zayana Yahweh. Yo, listen, man. My name is Ja, beloved. You can call me Kwesi back when the occasion calls for it. You are watching iKULCHA TV. Keep it locked.
iKULCHA TV, Africa, from African perspective. Radio, culture.
All right, studio time reading 12:31, Studio 1, USA, Texas. And we are cutting straight to GH reports. Here comes the man, Justice Marfo, or the GH reports. Brian. Justice.
Boss. Medica Namache Bibia, Namamo Bibia Kwaba, Edwama GH report, live from Asante Mantemu. No, ye de free Asante Mampon. That's a bro, Sable Zotosomiansa.
Impesua so pe ne di free na MPP amanyoko no the New Patriotic Party amanyoko no egusu a ehuru wo hanom a enya asem ketu akra sese no wo pe hotspot ayo Ghana ha enkanka Asante Bantam ha pa electoral hotspot a omode Asante Mampo aka ho se electoral hotspot a abatu bi aduru so a ye pe biaye bia basabasa yesi a Asante Mampo omode aka ho enam 2020 general elections na course so abasabasa between Honorable Kokon Sapon, member of parliament, and then parliamentary candidate Honorable Francis Adenimo, the supporters are when you be by kofa aboto tuone abatwene secantwe nyina ba mu nintino omo declare say Asante Mampo so hotspot na eno na MPP amanyukuo no kuma bi enkane wona na nkita hodie bofotene de ma MPP amanyukuo no wo Mampong constituency Honorable Kwame Owusu Echampon dodo no afre no Wycliffe ena wode atudwa se DSC afi 2020 no enya de a omo hwe animu se bi besasi biom omo mpese Mampong beji dimbone nti MPP amanyukuo no twerɛtwerɛfo pani oda no Justin Frimpong Kodua General Secretary and so regional chairman Bernard Ntwibuosi akon dodo no afre no se chama wontumi no ade a omonim sansem yi nyina no nti no omonhwɛ no montra ho no masa basabasa ye na course afi 2020 no ebi nsense biom na ka kum ye gene kokko num se newsroom aye krado a ombo ye first interview no efama ye wo bra na Kwame Owusu Echampon popularly known as Wycliffe on central for dinkomo
Mampong kan na kan be kan ho no ye mre bi ye twem ye to polling station na ba be to coordinators the CCC baby edu no Mampong ye mpese ye beji dimboni bi ye bi enti ye fa akwanya we so ne asrem penifo se womo ni emra Mampong especially general secretary o mre bi ye twem onim the CCC the yesre say ye ma pepepe yo enye adwuma ewo polling stations abeya enche bia ye betom ne basa ye nyina de ya hokeka na party na sebe akofom kakra o Mampong yetimi asa apeja me se baby a ba beduru no ya batu men pipi o Mampong no sebe enya de a eye eniso because ye ha ya batu on party no voting party na ba na eba for 2020 area kwakwan petum sapon enya 36,000 ye ba 2024 we say dey see 2024 benya 27,721 them NDC move from 10,000 that call 15,486 it tells us say sabi ono kasa ni fame no na ho den depreciate said ye in 2024 am one yentimi enye no this time round ye hear fairness transparency about one got no emu na ho the best room can be you so ye free sro you see your general secretary or you are aware of this your regional chair on the executive you are aware of it
nipa yete ne nkan ya Kwame Owusu Echampon popularly known as Wycliffe ono na no enkane no ye nkita hodie bofotene de man New Patriotic Party o Asante Mampo na o kan sempi na video no wa say e be 7 minutes eno nti no enche bia on be hu say ya posti e wo GH News na your YouTube channel no ye be posti sa video no wa na be mo nti enche bia GH News na ye be posti na yanko yanim good for Ghana Union of Traders Association wa Asante Mantam omo so de abetu dwa se Nigeria for je omadwuma market ahodo e wo hono mo stores ahodo e wo hono mo nyina no ade a adwadifo no omo free Nigeria ye nuanam alata for bagu no omo je adwuma na ye no nti no KMA ene aban no mram na omo ntu omo so sa na omo di kan de akodan Kenzuba ama Kenzuba se obetu ho na mo nanso omo nyampopo ye bia omo anse omo de mra na be hye omo nsam na omo de aproisifo aka ho na omo akototo sa stores ni nyina mu se Kenzuba nye na je se obedi animu no akotutumu o mo ankasa ebekọ akotutum se newsroom ayekra do won boy en second interview no emfa ema yen sisi ya
aban no ehuhuye no wasakekaye nini aban ba konfirm nini ndisi mfirm ni MPP mfirm omo nyina obi anya prepare se obeboa agedifo so ye ne ko keme na keme boss kacha say Minister of Interior, Minister of Trade, na Foreign Affairs almost ojomo dwumaye bibi also bobo mama ne asa asomo nti ye ntro the program say wo nyina na famra ban na ban so ho kwa de be fa so nti ye ne so ka cho mo say abaya bako nya ndisi na nya mpipi aban bia nya pepes obaboa because bibi omo dada ye ombe to aba before say be to aba mo campaign no ye ne ba wo me asia ye ne Alanta Matisia ye ne President Mahama Sushia am nyina my promise so mo ba on be up to now 1 year ni on free cross any ho komokra until church of grievance no come coordinating director next mayor aremo ni ho until the come coordinating director ni kacha na say sesia say abana ahwe no amwa edodifo adwa afa na say omo ahwe no mo na almost stop no within our market na ya better to the shops and to me abai no na yetutu no mo anya hwe amfa ho so a shops in the balance ya be ball liter awro mo shop no gana the phone na e best cut on shops
no regional vice chairman at the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Kwame Nyame, Nana Kwame Nyame, and Yatin Kano. Ria, a Hana Brababa Kwani a day Yamana Bonin in SCM, Esuma Drume. Esuma Drume.
Yo, Yemfinsi Haya. Na eche, with the number one semi bisafa in Hobate eche, because Epse Bedieche, Akohese and Pampa. Ombe bochenku akwa to stores in one pampa and emraben and ombe timi da show mo nsem akodi sa adwuma no ye bedi ho enkomo eche justice ye da CP when you cancel akase videos baako no enso so ne 4A na kasa wo ye social media platforms no enti emso bia timi akono akohwe ye da CP justice Marfo. All right, okay. Now, Yesimba Baka, we will be bringing you Arts and Culture. Cinergy, please come in the green room. Let's get it on. Arts and Culture is next after this very short break.
I will give up? Ja, Sampana, yeah, what's up? Ja, Besiakon, Dansame, Asimbre, what's up? In Miasu, what's up? Ja, Asiakon, Fede, what's up? Ja, Yankuma say, Ja, so, Asian, Ja, what's up? Asikusha, what's up? Ja, Asifosu, what's up? Asidon and Yabrum, in Suta, what's up? Ja, Asiando, what's up? Ja, Asimansu, what's up? Pamiata, Achiase, Cheche, what's up? And so I am what's up? Yeah, I say down my what's up? Yeah, Ingressy, I send crime, don't me abra what's up? Yeah, China so what's up? Stay ben so what's up? Yeah, I'm wabe, Jakai, Busmaje what's up? Hey, Yankuma say what's up? Yeah, Oduma say what's up? Abba say what they big room, Kalachia say what's up? Yeah, I send girls what's up? Yeah, I send boys what's up? Yeah, this your boy a man crap to Menkoti Amato, I sing boy, hey sweet. I sing girl, I sing girls.
Welcome to
Roots Organics on ICO.
No, it's not time for Roots Organics. It's time for arts and culture. And when it's time for arts and culture, you know what to expect. it's time to expect the man Bismark Appiah Cinergy for today's edition of Arts and Culture. Cinergy.
Yes, sir. Everything cool.
Take it away. Everything nice.
All right.
Everything cook and
Yes,
curry.
sir. Yes, sir. You grow me 10 times so I need and art and culture. Admire. And I really love the conversation. The baby start here, the Ababi drove. Because I was following this whole, let's say, this show today. From the beginning of you talking about doing an intensive review of the SONA 2026, that is the State of Nation Address 2026. Now, it's now time for us to look at what the president said with regards to creative arts pertaining to art and culture. What the creative arts and also are benefiting or they intend to benefit from this State of the Nation Address as it stands now. Now, we are not only going to broaden the conversation mainly on what the art itself will give us, but in a two direct way. One would be on the money, that is the financial aspect that he made mention of, and the other side is how the distribution will be as to the eligible people that will be eligible to have that funds to support this creative industry, and as to how the whole thing has to be dispersed to the main purpose of the reason why the money they earn. But let's take this into introspective analysis and make this point very direct that many people feel to say when it comes to the SONA, that is the State of the Nation Address, it's just a matter of President Biabana or by addressing the nation, just like that the way he feels. But for educational purposes, it is part of Ghana's constitution, which is specified under Article 67. That states say a president shall, and meaning it is not on any way I would if I can be feel say, oh, I feel like addressing the nation to have to do with this way or that way. It is part of our constitution as part of the Article 67 I specify. So the beginning of every parliamentary session, the dissolution of every parliamentary session, that is when this whole thing is done under the Article 113. And no is part of the dissolution of parliament. And the beginning is Article 67. So, and no NMI, you who what the president did on 27th February. That was, let's say, on Friday. Now, you who this atmosphere of people talking about it. Now, the creative arts, ya boy, now, Bono Bodi in the crown, a dear seminar walk and what the president, that is John Dramani Mahama, announced a total financial commitment of 40 million. And this amount is aimed at revitalizing the creative arts and the movie industry, of which what you to say 20 million will go into the film industry. That is a seed money for the film fund to support Kumawood, the Hollywood, and the other wood, as he said. And the other 20 million will directly go into the creative arts. And also we have the music, we have the fashion, we have the literature, and any other aspect of creative art. Most people don't even know when it comes to the creative art industry now. We associate it with only music, food, tourism. But we have a broader or a wide scope when it comes to this creative industry. So the 40 million, as the president said, 20 million for the film industry. That is the Kumawood, the Hollywood, as we know, say, any the gallant production houses or the production media, Ghana has say, any the creative aspect, and also including everyone, both the musicians and wherever they are, which is very important. Now, before say, President says something, the idea, the intention, the intent, and what he as the president sees regarding this creative arts industry, any the reason why one say it is very important to push this money, to inject this money to support the creative arts industry. But one aspect of this conversation is very important to me. What Honorable Richard Ofori-Agyeman Boadi, the current Kumasi mayor, shared about creative arts, especially the former administration, the creative arts school, Omushi, and the Abua, the creative arts. What he said, back to president the so any this 40 million financial support to the creative art industry. No? So if Green Room can get me or Newsroom can get me the video of Kumasi Mayor Ken Zuba, what he said about the creative art school.
And then creative art school, creative art SHS and
creative art SHS. Send the STEM, you know.
Yeah, program.
I send you creatives, no. Send the STEM, engineering.
Creatives.
And just system, no, almost engineering. Send the STEM school.
That's you,
Ah, Mayo.
Yes. Obi Obeka was a creative art school. Any Ghana, Ghana.
Oh, you need creative art basic school, secondary school, Ghana. I been here.
What the whole word? I'm for no creative art secondary school. Tell me country back.
Oh, you need this how baby.
And I'm a country bank. I know creative art secondary school. Creative art. 1 year Ocean, 10 less than 10% the people within the creative industry. A talent in nature.
Of course.
Interesting.
Russ, let's come back.
Interesting.
Can you get Russ?
Yeah.
Now, one, Mamina always address this and you move on to President Diana. Now, sometimes Yana, I get worried about how people are. They tend to become the voice for the voiceless. We end up near to Futragun without doing proper research. But our position, is said to deceive people in a sense. Say, based on your position, it is easy for people to get away with it without doing further inquiries to see, say, assembly leader, especially when that person is a politician. Now, I don't blame Zuba because what the infant say only interest in the work but as a journalist, wo fresh any pakrono, who seeking a consent or the idea or whatever opinion about the topic in our discussing. What research did you do? And he said there is no creative arts school anywhere. And the presenter said yes, which is total lies. We have School of the Art out Singapore. They do mainly literary works and film industry, when we training people on that. Young quite the crowd.
At the secondary school level.
Yes. When you go to Johannesburg, South Africa, we have the National School of the Arts. They do this whole thing. Oko UK, your break school. People listening to me right now can do their research. Michigan, you will be UK, you will be. But the conversation, I do understand from the point now with the free Bani because already he's part of the people. I have the notion, say, the creative arts people, the people in the creative arts industry, the people, I say, they are not world respected. We don't regard them that much. In this will because or you're into creative art. Money look at say those that they are not really needed when it comes to national discourse. That is how I understand it from another point. And then I was a bomb moka. And then you was a higher who say the seed money be clear for toward the amount. And they said they see a specialized school and among those people. We do understand when you go to the senior high school level, creative art as visual arts at the senior high school level. Yes, sir. But to have a creative art school mainly for creative arts and again NDBA. And noted that the then administration ACB or Kwadaso. The current government, that is the John Dramani Mahama, episode or Twaso, which is a beautiful idea. I believe in continuation of governance, Obiba Beyebi Twaso, so that the resources will not go waste. One is every region there you want to Ghana before I say they appointee will be into that region, At the end, about that to first look at the interest of those people. No, as you said, that person, no, the interest of the people, na do or leader. No, does that person really understand those people? Leader, na? No, that is where. Know the Ashanti region to be one of the regions. We know the Ashanti region to be one of the regions. They are into film, creatives, our Ashanti region. And to appoint someone to become the regional minister of the Ashanti region, meaning Tiny Pakwan was what say Ashanti region. I say. 2, to appoint someone to become Kumasi. I say. Despite the expertise in any specialization, send a beer to me. Sorry, some call people said this starting of Hello, Ross.
Yeah, Synergy.
COVID distracting with our me. That is how I see it from my perspective. Say, before we get every leader in every aspect or sector in Ghana, no, we should have or what that sector no at heart.
Before you conclude on Zuba, before you conclude on Zuba and the regional minister and all of that.
These people are creative people. In Tiadimi Akoko to Omwanui, Adiebu Honam Nasa, your main priority. Send a Messia Bo Modiafa. You are in Ashanti region and you are making this conversation to look as if, sir, it is not important for us to do that for the Ashanti region. Enough of that.
Before I did number 2 honor, let's examine this in a little more. Synergy.
Okay.
It may be the case that other countries have secondary school level arts schools. That may be the case. However, what I think the best practice should be, and that's the case in some places, and that was the case in Ghana some time ago, is that you incorporate the programs into the regular schools. When we were in school, we used to study music as a subject. We hated it. Me, I'm a musician, but nothing that I learned about what I am doing now about music did I learn from school. If you understand what I'm saying. Music now you or secondary school. It has nothing to do with the music that I'm performing now. Let's put that on the side. What I'm saying is this. Back in the day, these programs were incorporated into the regular curriculum. Oba Broche say, right? Texas, as an example, New York as an example, especially Texas, they don't play with the arts. Nana, every school that you go to has a solid arts programmer. The kids struggle to get into. I said, if you make that grade now, why are there? Wow, he got into this. Oh, how? Wow, he got into band. Everybody's happy for you. My son got into the choir. He got into the band as well. Ocean how to play saxophone. Your man voice training, all of that. Ube school, no. You're already a pro in that level. Do we need a secondary school for that? Synergy, I don't know if you're frozen or if I still have you. You look frozen to me. Try and re-enter. I'll take you back to the green room, and then when you refresh, I will bring you back. I think you are refreshed now, Abi. There you are.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, do we really need a secondary school for that? Because if Mamin Charadie, America, and they're the biggest producer and consumer of showbiz, true or false?
True.
No question about that. Yet, does America set schools to train people at that level, even though they have the consumption for it? America movies right? Or producing movies do they have secondary school level? It's not necessary. Zuba is right. It's completely misplaced. Put the programs in every secondary school. Because after all, Oba creative arts industry now, fact of the matter is that me, I went to School of Performing Arts. I have a master's degree, right? But Oba running creative industry, our Ghana. How many of them have been to even School of Performing Arts now? Let's be very realistic about this thing. Ghana has set up school for creative arts and no ujai regular school now work on and the work school now as a young person that will do secondary school going age no ujai SSS na work school no and it makes no sense. I am sorry to disappoint you, Cinergy, but I love engaging with you because we get people to look at things from different angles, right? Let's think about this together. With the 16 years, 12 years, 13 years, whatever, what's the sub secondary school? You say, the opposite creative arts school. Jai school now, that now you're training for everything else. No, I call creative arts school. It makes no sense. Put the program in all schools. Get GES to incorporate creative arts subjects into all schools. And to go school, before I school, now be a Western Senkubo, and I was guitar, and I was drum, a palogo, and a bibisa, right? And then if you want to take it as a career, then you polish it at the tertiary level. So that if the government has any money to spend, put it in the tertiary level. That's why people make careers out of that. Until then, no, we don't have many people who can play instruments or money them kwa. Nana, there are some people like also saxophone, or so guitar, or so drum, or so bar, but who say, or another baby or also and I say, ebia, we see accounting, we say, and or sign what the music we say no. It is so probably to be the music now a career, but or some accountant. But you are forcing somebody at that level into a creative arts school. It makes no sense. Zuba is right. I don't know if building you know a passe a idea almost say.
Yeah, that is the building that's quite as of. Yeah.
Is it true that it was meant for that purpose?
Yeah.
Let's investigate that because Minjindi. Akufo-Addo who was struggling to pull money to do anything at all. Found
that
money to
is
do
there.
that.
Yeah, that building is there.
Secondly, I would have heard somebody 2 years soon. So creative arts.
Maybe you didn't hear about it, but it is there. You can Google it right now and make a search on that. It is there.
But I'm saying it makes no sense.
All
if
right.
they want to do that, they should finish the building. If Muhammad's government wants to continue that, please, humble advice. Finish that structure, convert it into an ultra-modern audiovisual institute at the tertiary level, so that after everybody has got their basic education, everybody knows how to read and write properly. Everybody knows, say, okay, I have some science background, I have some arts background, I have some accounting background, whatever else, no. Then at that level, if I want to use it as a career, then I go in there. And then at that point, there are enough incentives in there and enough investment to help me develop the career. Again, because any more creative arts the money now and a school, mind you. Skates in 40% of them at least will drop the idea of creating skates and go find something else to do. Let's face it, it's an avenue for other people who don't want to be bothered with school. Nothing wrong with that. There are certain people out there to school. The people who are really creative. Okay, so you just pass it through School of Performing Arts. He could have made it. No, sir. He made it from his own societal wisdom. And that's creative arts. It's creative. It's been in a year, Jane. 100 and something %. But that's me. It's your show, as I keep saying.
Well, I so totally disagree 100%. And my reasons are: one, in as much, sir, we need to get people the basics. No problem about that. But having a creative arts school, I don't think it will be mainly dependent on, sir, I was a creative arts in Nkwa. People will be taught how to read and write because, as the president said, we just want to mold the way they put out the content just to meet the global standard. You made mention of Jaco. And to tell you the actual fact of this creative art, we have people that are passing through the secondary level. Or the general subject, maybe they suffered and now They didn't see anything crucial about the essence of going to the senior high school, but they made it through their own way. And they are stars. But let's put this in context. Say your school boy honma, maths, science, and warrior. But just go there for them to teach you typical music, typical movie industry, and typical literacy.
And necessary at that point is what I'm trying to
right,
say.
I'm coming. No problem about that. Said the Awoka say necessary. But I think for standard, no, any how our education system near put to Afrano, it is necessary for me from that point.
Maybe some question.
Me too. Yes, me too.
They groom me every year. We tell even School of Performing Arts and even the tertiary level, no.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many people pass through there and just divert to go do something else?
Because the system is not working for them.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm building a point.
Industry for that. Okay.
I'm building a point though. The point is that if there's an industry that's going to swallow them up, then it makes sense to do that.
So if you have the school, definitely we have an industry to
how
swallow
many movies do we make? How many cinemas? Listen, start from there. Build a culture of that first. Then maybe that will make sense. Only then will I even consider that remotely. But look at this. Training every year, they're training a large chunk of youth who are focused on only creative work. Who are they going to produce for when people don't even go to the cinemas anymore? Ghana doesn't have a cinema culture. Here, you go to the cinema, even here, put and say Netflix, people put that aside and go to the cinema just for the culture of it. So if you are grooming people for that industry, it makes sense. What industry are you grooming these people for? How much money do we invest? We're releasing Nyom. What is a Shatawale releasing? What is a Stone Boy? Whoever. Can maybe see F word? No, on the F1 into the. Funny say, any of your favorite artists are releasing Nyom. How much money do you think about putting into Nyom that we're releasing as a people? We don't have that culture. And how many millions per? Right? So you are grooming people for what market? When it's also an industry, you really don't need a certificate to function. Who go school, no, obibefa mobile phone, no caskets, no try it. Like what happened to us who went to School of Performing Arts. Everybody had to branch, go do something else. Because school now call the industry is not there to support you. Small one there, it's a group of people who are controlling that, which can be corrected maybe by setting up the school. But maybe they say, why industry bang? And I will groom me some for you for. You can say you groom me, you can for a Greek school. Yes, a person will produce the anima MED. You can say that I'm not for medical school. We are grooming doctors for our health and everything. Creative Arts Secondary School, you grooming why more? I'm a Ghana. It's what I'm. And mind you, I'm a creative myself, so don't get me wrong.
No,
me,
no.
Say,
and I love how the conversation is going
at that level.
Let me answer that. Can I answer that question?
Of course.
All right, to me, your people are said the Azuba suggested said we should use that for colleges. And we know the colleges that he was talking about, being it the training college or the nursing or whatever. But as it stands now, we have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years nursing students or more years for motifi. First of all, na yeso omunko school ni wie no mama ye den pam or mine system ben na yeso mba ye adwuma wo. That is one. We have teachers.
No. Don't compare apples and oranges. Synergy.
I'm coming.
Let's clear that up before you continue.
Yes.
No. Let's get that out of the way.
Let me make my point.
The first place,
Let me make my point.
Okay, but we'll
let me make my
point.
point.
You're comparing apples and oranges.
Oh, let me make my point.
Mm-hmm.
We said the America said we have people more training college, the nursing and the teacher training or multi-fee. We are hoping the system will consume them years by years based on appointment. No problem, because our limited infrastructure to accommodate them. No problem. But I am looking at it from this point to say, what can they do on their own to benefit the country at large if the government, Enfane Juma or the Beko preschools, the government, the private schools now until that doesn't take the fact to say you posti, no, that person becomes useless. No problem. 2. Now to these creatives, if you have someone who is a creative art schooler or when you know, and what the technical know-how, I see that person is at the junior high level or the senior high school level, Obetima is something better or profitable for him or herself. Wabra want to also call the tertiary level to waste money. No other better because we know how content creators, this digital media, the new media, is fetching people money right now.
Okay,
so if
I
we
know
regularize
I know we have another topic and the time is limited, so let's try to keep it short and concise. But
All
what
right.
I'm saying to you is, they're working now, all well and good. But with the case of the nurses, there's actually a backlog versus we say a opposite, right? Now let me skip to maybe I would say I will explain. You saying we'll just train these people and leave them out to go fend for themselves. It's not a smart idea.
No. That is not the point I made. I said we train them. We know, sir, a time will come that we will still post them into your training or much of fee. But if I can't be finished, you're training in one day. One man may useless with you, but about compared you for the idea. That is
So
the
then why
point I
don't you
made.
train the person for Juma for front preko? I did not training for BB Abanako Tnefi and San Wakoye Wako way. Now, Synergy, they are making in any say until maybe there's a law say on call creative art school you can't function as a creative. This will make no sense. It's as simple as that. Until there's a law. Anything that say untimin sorry kokese may a doctor. Makotina baby may study right? They are protected. The profession is protected. Untimin kodina court and kese may a lawyer may become as them. No, it's protected. They are girls, they are all types of. But creative arts, anybody can be a creative. That's where you have to send your mind.
That is where my mind is. But I'm looking at how we can polish them. I'm looking at how we can polish them.
At the tertiary level. At the very least, make it a polytechnic. At the very least, make it a polytechnic.
We know the creative art thing is mainly based on talent, right? A talent base. And that talent base, should we work for that person? It's one for senior high school. Wabra, Obu Okana grade, no crime, you want to mean the tertiary. None of life not end over there. But at the senior high level,
programs in the school. Maybe my example. Even Ghana, we used to do it before. Back in the day.
Yes.
They were the pop chain. Be someone with film generations are what's called the pop chain, if they know what the pop chain is. Oko secondary school are those schools in like Accra, Kwabuche, those kind of schools. No more be friend the pop chain. Pop chain, school bands. When the pop chain comes, I actually made a movie. My first movie, no, that was my second movie. Was called Pop Chain. You can know VHS, so if I find a VHS, I'll try to convert it to digital and put it on platforms for people to watch. It was called Pop Chain, right? But Pop Chain idea, schools. And Obia on the band, then there's a day they come together and they play as a competition. What I'm saying. So schools had bands. I went to St. Peter's Secondary School. We had a school band. The other time I knew Agyenim Boateng, and I mentioned it. Agyenim Boateng, no about bass guitar in the school band, right? Okay. So schools had bands. We had a brass band. And I'm put a trumpet, but no munya or dining hall. I have more extra ball of kinky because there's so more energy to blow. All of that. We had all kinds of traditional groups in schools and all. The government should introduce programs who go school, who share everything that everybody else is studying. And then you are also polishing that aspect, You are learning something. I say in American woman, all the kids are forced into some aspect of because I say elective, right? 1 year choir, I also year band. 1 year band, I also year you kind of saying the back when the friend is saying. Ballet. 1 year ballet, I was so won't that make sense? But by all means, so by BB. And to all right. And no crime about you're smarter. Because by the time you become a creative person, you know everything else that everybody else knows. Nobody's going to bully you with any contracts. Because you know what they know too. It may not kind of the same thing, but all I'm saying is the level at which they are proposing to do it is wrong. if you want to do that, maybe step it up, make it like polytechnic. Into where we high school, you know, say, oh, say me we school, be me to say me polish me creative way, na me the launch me career better. My men ko honum. Say your first teacher training tier no, na enye university. No, we are not teacher training. It wasn't a university. It was a you can say polytechnic level. Yeah, the BB Sadia, I'm all for it. But other than that, Zuba is 100% right. I don't think say for a place like Ghana, a good investment for our money. Say first build a secondary school level creative arts institute. I don't think so. Anyhow, another issue. And I say you still want something. You still want to have the last word on this. It's your show. You can always have the last word.
Let me have the last word on that. Please, I think for newsroom, if you people can do a research on Interlochen Arts Academy or Michigan, USA, what they do is they do creative writing, film, and music. When we search about Proello, like the other high schools, they also do the same thing. Or New York City, USA. That is what they do. And the other one that I made mention of, that is National School of the Arts, Johannesburg, South Africa. I think, like you said, you have the levels. But to me, I feel the way our education system, we need to be specialized based, because our education system is trying to groom people across board. Meanwhile, the interest in anyone. Into parents, a lot of parents are really putting in money, but they are not getting what is expected from the awards. That is how I see it, because I'm in the education field. And I know what the point that I want to drive at. In the sense, I could have been a junior high school, a senior high school. Yeah, let me take it from the junior high school. Now, what interest or fashion, but the culture of someone called a senior high schooler, I say you are not well respected until we are pushing people to go to the senior high school before. So, when Yamanako fashion school. But in other way around, consider someone away interest or fashion school. Now instead of so Obeko senior high school, no when you training in Canada never call this fashion school. How would this whole thing benefit that Colano, especially based on the special field out Neuromono? That is the reason why outside we have the academy schools a training footballers from the lower age. Through that, they equip you with school, the writing and the reading and the speaking aspect into who now and yet the general one in the question, but you become out of an asset from that school through the field now. Example is Lamine Yamal of Barcelona. That boy is still in junior high school. We have a lot of players they are playing professional football, but they are still at the junior high level because of the anyhow they are being trained on that aspect.
All right, we have 10 more minutes. Yes. Let's use that for the second topic.
Well, let's brush it up fast. Yanko to President Nediana. Time is really not on our side. As to the 40 million, how this whole thing, said that President Kaya, is it here? President Elan Che, the Black Star experience that was last year, 2025 May. That was that very day, or making reference to Agyenim. Our year said that person, that man, I was saying, Anna and Sana were into the 20 million Ghana cedis now, so or the Romono, or person or strengthen the Black Star experience now, can't want them say, or person a year Ghana, the identity, it gives us a rich culture, street carnivals when it's time for us to have that Black Star experience now. Into part of the Sikana was so they made the creatives, a Juma or person a be a two. Infrastructure and rehabilitation. Okay, want them say the National Theatre. Or who say Sasika wish it would not just be injected the money in the industry just like that, but to help us with infrastructure. Baby, once we need to rehabilitate them just to meet the standard or just to meet how we perceive that place in ACN. And he said, you bet me a second national theatre, Kumase, which is very nice. See, Timinian is the Sikana location, and there are no problem.
Hello?
Radio, KULCHA.
In New Now we'll make reference to. Hello?
Yeah, to us over me.
Yeah, network and everything mess me up, no problem. But I'm fan to us. So lastly, the opening statement, or make reference say the new media, how human creativity able to Ghana out there globally, it's something that even the traditional media no ain't me due to content creators, a juma or more. And it's true because what a content creator can do for the industry, the name a bit fetch for us, it will take us a huge investment for us to do that. A critical example is what Speed came to do in Ghana. This digital media person, a social media person. But let's look at the face of them Africa. They change a whole view of Africa. Until President intent is pushing that money, into this sector, will help also support the new media, build infrastructure, and also to and to tighten the black style experience now of per But the last aspect I want us to look at is when the bit eligible to have access to that money, and you will be a keke. And a bit one is that person, you need to be a registered member of the industry. You need to have a production, a media house, a jinaso, just like that. That's not it. Then again, the Sikana or Moka the first application or Moody can receive nearby this versus Sikan will be in the mid April year May April year. That is going to be the first part of the Sikano or more or mobile file the application. No more Sabekano. First 30% will be the pre-production, another 40% will be the middle of a production, and the last 30% will be the post-production aspect. That is how the disbursement will be. So Sikano, you will not get the money based on semi Phillips or semi Coco GB into Dabi, but you need to have a production a year registered under this creative here you need more Ghana before you can get access to the money. Into President 2020, that is our conversation is here.
Yentie dia omapanyi kan na yembra back na yen react quickly na fans. Oh, there's something not right with that video. Yeah, error message trying to play. Wait, let me see if I can play it from my end. 1 second.
Radio culture. Radio culture. Online.
That video is not playing for some reason. I'm not sure why. But I believe so we can still go in and discuss it. Or see there, and it's in a joke with the calculator that 20 million CDs for Kuma wood and all the other woods. Any idea? Respectfully, meaning some what kind of react here now.
Okay, let's move on.
And I can be ansana.
Oh, there, okay, we are. Now the latter part of it in the atwato.
Yo, my reaction here. Ya do man penyase. Penny for Kasabi, I said that's a beam review, right?
Yeah.
That's a beam review. But let's be brutal and very honest and have a very frank discussion. 20 million CDs. It's about $2 million. $2 million. We want an industry in Ghana. We see young training in power school and Fambra industry are $2 million and I bind this shame synergy. Let's be serious. There's a movie called Avatar, Fire and Ash. Avatar 3.
Yeah.
You know how much money was spent on that movie? Just that one single movie. $400 million. One movie. $400 million. They don't have a high school for creative arts. That's the point I'm making, Synergy. I buying the $2 million and on the share Kuma Wood and all the other wood. That's the budget for one small movie here. What the $2 million will be some finding movie here. Of course, we are not comparing, it's not the same thing. But what I'm saying, and he say here is the budget for a low budget movie. Right? $2 million for Kuma Wood and all the woods. Kuma Wood is a collection of how many so-called production houses here are working. And I feel all the other woods. And so it was our 2 million kroner. So that's how much value we place on creative arts. And come back and tell me, say we are spending money to build a secondary school for an industry to which we commit $2 million. When would I be channel? Now, it goes and comes back again to Asema de Bia making. That's the same way. They be the bio. By all means, and everybody will see, say Asema na mekani de Biano. You have a school of performing arts. You have a National Film and Television Institute. You have a school of music. You have school of art. All these schools are producing creatives of different, makes. All these schools, they are putting out creatives at that level, right? None of these people are represented in any of these things now, or Momasa licenses now work on the synergy. Also, before somebody qualifies to benefit from Saturday way, share a production house, not Wakako provincial production house, not Wakako J Saturday if you wine ho. Right? So we have FIPAG, which is made up of people, most of who have never set foot in any creative school.
And the example he made, FIPAG is one of the.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So you have FIPAG telling me that they will not approve me my thing. Why? It's the DBA. The system is not right. Until we set the system right, there's no need to build any school of that sort. Set the system right first. Everything else will fall in place. Because I'm a school, I'm a school of performing arts. I'm a career in the creative arts industry. I'm head of BB, whatever. Then we're talking. Now, I'm a school of performing arts. Not Jackson Bentum, any Omo candidate in Chawakoko for me 5-pack. Ever be determined when I should release my movie. What nonsense is that? Errant nonsense. Creative art, tourism, with all due respect to my big sister. And I have so much love and respect for her that I don't want to be seen, but let's face it, that place, it's a landmine, One shot, 2 million cedis, 20 million cedis, a beba beye albatross around the neck of the government. Mark it somewhere. You know why? Because and people will feel entitled to say they should have got some. So Abano needs urgent action in the tourism and arts and creative sector. Seriously. Seriously. That's my take, Synergy.
All right. I think, I only delivered based on the point the president in the Atti-Lorlorh had wanted to voice the pain out of shed their issues in the city, but thankfully you've dealt with it nicely, and that is what as a nation I will see you pay attention to. We are joking with certain things, it doesn't give us a brighter future. Our industry are a grooming people are omunko school with no certificate, but they are able to make a living for themselves. People are omutimi putting a nation on the map. Wabra government and pay a man a penny. Nasa that industry, yes, he provided support to the amount of more. We make it look as if we have to do some. Two is what system is regulating the creative art industry, and do that. Those people know me ahead of that creative art industry, a dear responsibility, at the end of every year. you be delivered to the people in that creative. No, as you said, the registration, must the obi or no be qualify for such a must be a registered member of a recognized guild that is either fire pack or that GAG for actors,
But that guild thing is whimsical. It's not just me person me channel no, because Obenya Bibi they should have representation from these training institutions. Otherwise, then you are saying the training institutions are bogus.
And that is what I'm coming from. Sani Pakwana Obubo Omutin said they are forming the fire park. No, woman enco vet will be works. How credible are they to vet their work and see to it as any Pakrono Krano, Sikano? And secondly, they made mention of local content quota, meaning 60% of the work that you do, cast and crew should be Ghanaians. They should be Ghanaian citizens and some will qualify. Thirdly, distribution plan. You must also provide a proof of path to market. Say, moving a mutual, a humana may made a quackoto a station which is say either Aquaba Magic or Netflix. Sanima Winina should be a nearma ever qualified to have access to this kind of money. Never be someone who say, how is this thing realistic to regulate the economy research na Mahama, John Dramani Mahama, the president, we will end up, and this money will end up in people's coffers. Last year, not even last year, last administration, we heard say certain amounts they push into this same industry. We did an editorial on this same story over here. People are mobile back say that money and they up in the pocket of party boys. Is that not the same thing I have? Into the amount is one, it has nothing to write home about. Two, what regulation are we putting on this creative industry need to see to it? Say, the people now are more and mind you, clothing is part of this creative art. But young there recently, a Zambia, through just Fugu. A president represents us with a cloth, Fugu Keke. Look at the identity that he gave us. And you think that this industry, you better play it just like that. No. Content creators, I should speed in one. But let me reference this with Maya. Look at how Maya is representing Africa worldwide. Now, all my Africa identity through this digital media, the new media. These are the things that we have to look at. Giving people the credible hands to push themselves into this creative, maybe we ever benefited the country at large. And yes, one will come, one will go with different policies and different mindsets, the way they see it. But at large, the respect will still not be there for creatives. That is how I can put it on this aspect for now.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, today has been very it's been insightful, is the word I'm looking for. I hope so maybe we can pick this discussion up again with some people in the industry. I don't know if you can make that your project for next week, right? Let's revisit this subject with some people in the industry who matter. I'll see if I can get some people from the School of Performing Arts to make a representation. And then you try and get some of the Kumawood guys, and if possible, try see if you can get a 5-part person on here. Because 5-part is an organization I'm always lambasting them. I've never heard from them. I would love to hear from them. Because if you are seminar making it, right? Otherwise, the meme patch and say everybody saying and your maya yet to take creatives. Na ya SETI school amomo Kwame Nkrumah Bresoton know who the importance of that into not SETI schools for all these aspects no, right? Na fe ye beba be do baby ya war industry no sebi in previous na make so monko School of Performing Arts na make so monko school e bia wako medical school crap meaning, but we be fi honom no about be head an institution that determines how men na course school for that how my career should go. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And to the minister, and everybody else involved, no, all the board chairs and all that in that area. Matisse said the Gideon Aikwe call. Gideon Aikwe, make this your project. Reset that thing. If you reset that, it will be a natural reset. Everything else will fall in place. Everything else will fall in place. Royalties and all these things, because your problem, Keseba on royalties. The reason why the creative industry and you're big in Ghana, no. No royalties na why? Because say royalties year and I mean say me royalties beba. I'm comfortable taking that up as a career. Because they don't know, say that's an area that you can go into and sustain a livelihood. So let's have an open and frank discussion. And whoever is unhappy about the discussion, too bad, but we need to have the discussion. We need to have that discussion. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm out. My name is Kwesi Sonbaku. Thank you for joining this week's edition of Synergy. I still see in the green. Why? I think it's something to wrap up with. And again, I want you to have the last word because it's your segment. Okay. So just that what you said, I just wanted, it's something that, so one notice here, I'm always on this topic. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third. I don't know how many times I've mentioned this thing here. But with my dream power, we have a platform, School of Performing Arts. When you raise the topic, the interest in that, it's very low. You know why? Because a lot of us have gone through that and passed on to go be something else. My friend Lester, who was the dwarf in my play at School of Performing Arts, he's now a flourishing lawyer. What I say? To be or no making a living from law. What is the chance creative arts accepted? That's so funny. Jamaicans, a lot of us go there and we branch into other areas. I went to School of Performing Arts. I branched to go do journalism for my master's. Because now I'm seeing myself more as a journalist. Lester is seeing himself more as a lawyer. So who's going to fight for the creatives?
That is it.
Last word is yours, Synergy, please.
All right. Yeah, now for the creatives, pain, the respect we give to that industry, like I said, for more School of Performing Arts, you know the value, what it takes for someone to be called a creative. But as to how this will become a national discourse, it is not a mere sector. What see a picture need to be and conform a couple of one more as a life, or mentioning pushy hard than a cost sector. Name a due respect to the master sector. That is when all this conversation I would say interest new alone a bit master sorry because on the national scale we are not seeing it that way. Well, young Frenchy Naminka and Pancho say the president can say the Accra International Conference Center. You see, it is not in International Conference Center again because it is not sufficient on the scale a team put Ghana on the map now attract you anymore. My intention is that you bet me a new world-class convention center. A rehabilitation of the National Theatre and the Macan was say the banquet hall you're closing it for years, you bet me a rehabilitating. So I hear you. My interest is if it's about politics, if it's about Yanka, if it's about let's put the funds a problem you are. But the realistic reality to how in some can ever manifest is our problem. Last year, May 2025, Black Star Experience on one launching year, we saw nothing about this whole thing, but money was pumped into that. This year, 40 million, automatically equivalent to $4 million US. Send us a kind of a is it coming to become say Bekasasa or news in him for Sobia Mana? Let's end it over here. Ras. Until that, Synergy is the name Arts and Culture.
Arts and Culture with Synergy. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Synergy.
Welcome.
I go. Wait. Amen. walk when come
And that's how we end today's show. My name is Kwesi Esan Bako. God willing, next week we will be right back in this seat with another episode of the weekly live stream. In the meantime, please do check all our platforms, all our social media platforms. Also check our website, www.ghnewsnow.com. If you scan that QR code right here, it will take you straight to our TV, online TV portal, iKULCHA TV, for more content. Remember, we will be rolling out some series for you as well in the coming week. We have some drama series coming up for you. And before we go, let's take a quick look at one of them.
And you're easy.
It wasn't for me. Huh? Marry your sister.
You're not meeting him. I'm meeting him.
You don't speak a little Spanish at all.
What is this? You want to embarrass me? You are fired.
And you're easy.
Look at the money I spent this week.
Driving you crazy. What's his name?
Hello?
And you're easy.
We got chicken legs. Thinking like a child when the thief come around. Thinking like a child when the thief come around. Big man, what? You look so. What I'm doing?
Coming soon to this station.
1 week. You have till this week.
Adan na wahia wo fie ha. Na mo fra me. Mo kwa me ho kwa na.
E ba le say na ni passes. O cha di sisa ba ko anya bi.
Amen.
Sem huna kwa.
Amen.
On my floor. Ni ni man si.
On my floor. Ya bra bra bra.
Guys! Moses! I fell into him.
And I'll give you the blood. Show that him. What's say? Mama, come on, finish him. We are for by now. Get. When him surround you, boy.
Can you? Who can you? Tiaba. Who Tiaba? Me vale na cover. When it's Yana say, I have currents, computer mine. Or some father, Phoebe, our down with. I had Daniel Yamo for dear wool, or thing You need some scary see here.
Take it easy. It's a Versace suit. Versace. Take it easy.
Yes, indeed. Coming to iCulture TV via our affiliate GH Drama Hub. Once again, my name is Kwesi Sonbako. This is where we end the show. I'll see you, God willing, next week. Thank you very much and see ya.